Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It's myself, George, joined once more by Charlie and Dave for a very special discussion. We are live talking all things D23. I don't know if you've ever had a D23 discussion on this channel before, but I've enlisted some help because it's going to be needed. So we have Charlie, who has been to D23 before. Obviously, you're not there right now, but we do appreciate you jumping on. And Dave, who of course is just like the other.
Just here.
He's always there. There's
just whenever you turn it on, I'm just sat here waiting. Yeah, in case you need me.
I was like, there's going to be Star Wars stuff, Dave. Are you free? And he's like, yeah, why not? Why not? So, yeah, this is going to be a pretty fun time. But first of all, how are we all doing?
Pretty tired. Going to be honest, that was a long panel.
Yeah, my finger from scrolling down my Twitter, just refreshing. That's kind of the thing that I've done for the last couple of hours. Just like, yeah, this is it then.
This is my Saturday night.
Rock and roll.
It's like last night I was sort of just sat there, like I was actually quite tired. It was about 11. It's like, and I think discussing film tweeted like the big panel starts. There was like, "You joking?" It's like, "There's a panel now," and I was like, "Am I? Can I be bothered to stay awake or not?" And I think I sort of zoned out after Pixar, and I was like, maybe one day they'll announce a third Tron film not starring Jared Leto. There is a Tron panel tomorrow. So actually, I'm going to say this for anyone watching at home who we want you to comment along with us tonight. And the reason we're doing this tonight is that tomorrow is more about the theme parks. There's not announcements per se. The two big film and TV panels have happened. I've been fuming in the last few minutes to find out that there's going to be a Percy Jackson announcement later on. Why later on?
Really?
Why wasn't it just in that 2.5 hour panel we've just had? I don't know. So 2.5 hours, actually it was a 3 hour panel. But please do comment all your thoughts on the announcements, the trailers, the discussions, what you've seen online, what you haven't. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about, so please do get involved. And if you're a fan of this, why not hit the subscribe button? We're going to end up covering most of these films. Granted, Avatar 4 is going to get discussed about today. Don't know what decade that one's going to come out, but maybe if this channel's still around, we'll do an Avatar 4 review. Aside from that, you also want to find out about our videos when we announce them, when we go live, all that sort of stuff. Go find us on our social medias, Twitter and Instagram at cinema_savvy, Facebook and Airbus.com/cinemasavvy, a linked Redbubble in that description below. But as I said, we are here talking D23. We have a schedule. We're going to talk about yesterday's panels and today's panels, but I don't want to sit here and sound like a robot. So I'm just actually going to cut to Charlie very quickly. I just want to kind of know, when you went to D23, like, just tell us about the experience of being at D23. We've been to Celebration, but we want to know the difference when you get to the Disney exclusive stuff.
Well, I guess the difference between D23 and any of the other cons is that, like, it's not just about film and TV, it's about the entire company. So, like, I went to the live action. So they used to do it where it was a live action panel one day, animation panel the next day, and then the parks panel. But this was kind of before, well, it was way before Disney Plus existed, so I guess they've rearranged it a bit since then. So it was kind of like the focus was on the productions, but then it was also on like what's happening in the parks, what's happening internationally, what's happening in the stores. It's a lot of merchandise launches and stuff like that. Obviously they do like the cosplay competitions and all that kind of thing, but my main memory of it was how much time I spent sleeping on convention floors. It was a lot of queuing, especially for the live action panel. I think we got in the queue at about 4 a.m. But hey, I saw Johnny Depp dressed as Captain Jack, so it was worth it, you know. But yeah, no, I just remember it being incredible. What an absolutely incredible experience, and the fact that it's at Anaheim Convention Center, which is right across the road from Disneyland. It's quite special. It's a shame it doesn't tour like the rest of them, really.
Yeah, it'd be amazing to go. I mean, Dave, me and you, we used to convention floors. That's how we met. I'm not going to go this way again. But we know next year we don't have to queue on convention floors because they're going to do the QR code system, which is great. We get to actually
stay in my actual hotel. What?
Yeah, stay in the hotel I booked for.
Where's the fun in that?
I've got a bed. I might as well use it. But I don't really have another question on that. Sorry, Dave. I'm not going to like cut you off.
That's all right.
Nice. We've got so much to talk about. I guess where we'll kickstart. So for anyone at home, we've done these for like San Diego, which was basically just being like an hour and a half discussion on Marvel, if I'm being honest, followed by a few other things we chucked in there. We've got the panels, we've got the schedules, we've got the major news. Some of these things might be like a couple of seconds. We're not going to have a big, deep round table on, guess what? Echo wrapped I don't know why all the cast bothered turning up for that. I think whether they did actually show footage, I don't know. We do have a lot of brackets. We've been doing, as I said, we've basically followed this through Twitter today. Obviously, Celebration, we're very lucky that we had a Tate's sister there and Jack covering for us. So we got a lot of photos, videos, all that sort of stuff, which will be amazing. And you can get a lot of these on like IGN discussing film. They're all tweeting videos. We're not going to like retweet videos and claim it's ours. We don't do that sort of weird stuff. Some only psychos do. But I guess if we want to kickstart, we'll begin on Friday, the Disney live action panel. And not to plug the Pinocchio review, but at the end of it, me and Tate said the only good thing about this film was Cynthia Erivo, who's in it, literally just to sing When You Wish Upon a Star. And that's how the panel started yesterday. She sung the song, and then Disney unveiled the new 100 Years intro that's going to be used on all the stuff next year. I thought it was pretty cool, if I'm being honest, and it's good to see it being used for something else that's not just Pinocchio, that, you know, everyone in that room, now they don't need to watch Pinocchio anymore. They've listened to the important part. But again, like, how do we feel? I mean, Charlie, you're the Disney expert. That logo, you know, is it exciting? I didn't even know it was an anniversary next year, if I'm being honest. I'm very new to the Disney side of it all.
Yeah, no, for me, that was like probably the most exciting thing that was released yesterday. I mean, there was actually some really cool stuff at that panel, but as soon as I saw that went through my like half asleep eyes on my phone screen this morning, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Yeah, so for the Disney nerds out there, this was pretty big.
Dave, have you
seen it's nice that they're finally going to, say, with the celebration of that coming up, it is nice the logo gets that update from where it's been to where it's just that lined version of the castle to then obviously the Sting we all know and has been with us for, I don't know how long it's been the main Sting now at the start. But then, yeah, it needed probably an update now, especially when they've got an anniversary coming up, and it looks stunning.
George, the way that you could know that it's the anniversary is D23. It's a bit of a giveaway.
I've never really clocked that, to be fair. I just thought it was a random number they picked.
So it was the year that Walt moved to Hollywood or to Los Angeles.
Makes sense now. I mean, I'm not going to be that guy that says should it be called D1923, but I understand the shortening. Imagine if Luke's was called like L73. That's 72. Sorry, that would be so strange. But no, that actually makes sense. So I always wonder, like, what I feel like you probably should told me in the past about D23. You probably mentioned it before when we've been out. Just forgotten. But
I like to be a Disney know-it-all when I can. So
yeah, and that's why we wanted you on this. I was like, yeah, if we're doing D23, we really should get Charlie on. Like, I know she's going to be watching this. It isn't too late yet. I was actually really quick question. Was anyone else surprised when they saw how early this panel was today? Given that yesterday's was like 11 p.m. and this was like, it's like 6 o'clock. I was like, is that right? Like, have I got the wrong time zone? How do we feel about this 3-hour extravaganza in an actual decent streaming pattern that didn't get streamed?
I think if I'd been there, it would have been awesome. But just watching it through Twitter updates was a bit boring. And also the fact that it started at 10 a.m. for everyone in the queue that was waiting to go in, probably a good thing, because it means they can now have the rest of the day on the floor and actually enjoy the expo.
Did feel like a weird time to be kind of just flicking through Twitter, trying to watch as much news coming through on different channels, and like I heard that 3 minutes ago. Now I'm waiting for this, but yeah, no, I guess it's. I don't know why they put it so early for this one. You think it's their main thing? They want the kind of maybe that should have been the tell that we weren't getting everything we were going to hope for, because I would put the beginning of the day. We'll not wait till the end. Everyone's going to build up the hype. No, we'll not. Just play it out early.
Don't want to disappoint.
Definitely. And kicks out of some of the stuff a lot of people are hopeful. We got Hocus Pocus 2 trailer and poster. Now, this will be the next film we speak about as well. Like confession, I've never seen Hocus Pocus 1.
This is going to be a long night.
To be fair, I'm not going to say this to all of them, but definitely the next two. But yeah, I've never seen the original. They dropped the poster, the trailer. I know it's coming out on September 30th. I will see it before the new one comes out. But I'm just going to hand this over to you two. Did you see the trailer, or are you a fan of the original?
Love the original. Absolutely love it. I mean, it's a classic, isn't it, really? I did see the trailer. I think it's probably going to be one of those long-awaited sequels that is basically the same as the original film, because the original film is obviously about the Sanderson sisters being brought to modern day, which then was like the 90s. And this kind of looks like it's going to be exactly the same story. But, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It should be quite good fun.
I think the first one's got kind of this, not like a cult following, but I think it has got quite, over the years, it's picked up more and more people on the line as well. It's certainly one that's passed down to the next generation of people. So I get why they've kind of gone now with, right, we're going to bring a Hocus 2 now. We can get out there, and it's obviously going to probably, then we're going to have the new generation coming into that movie as well, which they're going to bring more to it. So I get it. It was it's a movie I've only seen maybe once or twice, the old one. I'll see the new one. It'll be one of those things that you just kind of go, I'll watch this now. That's going to be fun.
No, definitely. And moving on to we're going to, guys at home, we're going to try and fly through Friday. And a lot of this actually. So you want to comment anything, your thoughts, just comment them. We'll bring them up with the films, but we're not going to hold on to long discussions on a lot of stuff. Disenchanted. Again, I said I haven't seen the trailer posted. Now, this is one I have wanted to watch this. I've just never got around to it. But listen, I love Amy Adams. So I will be watching this and the original before it. It's one of the films. I only saw Arrival for the first time last year, so I've still got a few films to catch up with. But aside from that, how are you both feeling about that one as well? Because I know that's one a lot of people are looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think if you like Amy Adams, this is for me. This is her role. This is who Amy Adams is. I think it was probably the first thing I ever saw her in. I remember going to see the cinema with my sister and my dad. I'm not quite sure where my mum was, but she didn't come with us for this one. Don't know why. Yeah, for me, actually, I think this is, I've noticed on Twitter, a lot of people are kind of agreeing. The most exciting thing is James Marsden coming back, because Prince Edward is the best character in the original film. So can't wait to see him just continue being the most ridiculous character in the second one. But yeah, I can't wait. I mean, for me, I don't know about you, Dave, it's been so long awaited. I feel like it actually exists now.
The first movie is really underrated, I think. It's a really, really great movie that plays on all that Disney trope with the wicked stepmother and the dragon that turns into a dragon, and your hero that's absolutely stupid. And she is wonderful in that movie, and there's so many, like getting animals to help her clean up. It's literally Disney checklist all the way through. Played pitch perfect.
Yeah.
This looks like a step up, and obviously it does hint in the trailer that Amy Adams is not going to be the good guy in this one, that she is going to be taking on tropes from her stepmother, because she is now a stepmother. And I think it's almost a Disney thing that she now has to have a little bit of badness in it. And just there's a couple of little snips where she slipped out of a good guy thing throughout that trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, I like that. Okay, yeah. She's going to play that solo. She'll be able to ham it up ridiculous on there.
Excellent. And moving from ones I think a lot of people are hyped for, because I know there's a big following of both those. We've mentioned they're cool. Let's talk some Disney live action reboots. Now, again, me and Tate did Pinocchio yesterday, and on the review, we spoke about our thoughts on them. I don't mind the reboots. I think they're getting excessive, but I actually am really excited by like technologies they use and seeing a lot of this stuff in live action. And we've obviously got a few that are going to come. So the first one they spoke about was Peter Pan and Wendy. I forgot this film was in production. I remember it being announced, and then when it was on the panel yesterday, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. There's just so many other ones at the moment. But we know we've got Jude Law playing Captain Hook, which I'm actually really excited about. Throwback to our Hook review on the Spielberg stuff. But they just dropped a poster, and they said it'll come out next year again. Like, we didn't get footage; they got footage in the stadium, convention center. Is this one you're looking forward to, or there's? I think the thing with Peter Pan, right? Peter Pan's in the public domain, so I really don't. This to me, I guess Pinocchio sort of is, but when they're in the public domain, it's hard to moan about them because everybody makes them. There's been a lot of Peter Pan films. We're getting another Pinocchio film next month, albeit one that is, I think, going to blow everyone away in terms of expectations as well. That's got real potential. But how do you feel about Peter Pan and Wendy? And also, sorry, this really annoyed me. They announced that, Hook and Peter Pan were friends. So this isn't groundbreaking. They did that in the musical a couple of years ago, where for some reason Hugh Jackman's singing "Smiles Like Teen Spirit" in the 1920s.
Oh my god, I forgot about that film.
Yeah, that happened. They were friends in that. It's not this big extravagant deal, but I'm going to pass over to you guys with some Peter Pan.
That was Garrett Hedlund, wasn't it? Played.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Where was this Captain Hook? He should be at D23 to announce Tron 3.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I am excited about it, but I don't get excited about the Disney live action remakes anymore. I try so hard to be ever positive, but I'm constantly let down by them, so I just don't really get that excited. But Peter Pan and Wendy is being directed by David Lowery, who is one of my favorite filmmakers at the moment. So for me, my favorite of the Disney live actions is Pete's Dragon, which I know loads of people haven't seen. It really completely missed so many people when it came out. But David Lowery directed that as well, and it's just perfect. So if that's anything to go by, yes, I am very excited about this.
I mean, what's not to love when Jude Law's going to be playing Captain Hook?
It's true.
Jude Law is now seems to be picking more and more roles where he gets to go out and enjoy himself. Where I think he said in interviews not very long ago that he used to just take parts that were very serious and he'd have to do a lot of research into them. And now he's started doing roles where I can do that and that's quite fun. And I'll just go and play for a bit. And that's kind of where a lot of actors get that point in the career where they don't have to take themselves so seriously anymore. They're not having to fight for roles. They're getting offered these things. And I think it's a really nice place to be. I think Jude Law as Captain Hook can work wonderfully well. The best pirate ever in film history is obviously Tim Curry in The Muppets Treasure Island. So if you can get anywhere close to that,
I mean,
who knows? But that's where I'm aiming
Dustin
for.
Hoffman as Hook's pretty.
what's wrong with you all? Captain Jack Sparrow, come on! How dare you?
But we might this is it. Like Peter Pan, I think because it's been done to death, it's going straight to Disney Plus as well. And you know what? I'm actually going to say this. Although I'd much rather see it at a cinema, as I would any film. Because there's been a sheer insane amount of Peter Pan films, I think they probably might as well put this one online because so many people are just tired of Peter Pan films at cinemas. And also, they didn't say when in 2023. Maybe it'll be Disney Plus Day 2023. They drop it. I don't know.
Oh God,
but
I hope we don't have a year to wait for it. Not if there's already footage that's ready.
Some of these are like 2 years away. I mean, one that we do know is coming sooner is Haunted Mansion. Now, I've only been to like Disneyland, I say twice in my life, like Paris, one day each at the age of like 5 and 11. So my Disney knowledge of rides being adapted is second to like none. Like I know nothing. Haunted Mansion, I do remember because I had the video of the Eddie Murphy one.
I love that one.
I actually really like, and I grew up to find out people hated it, and I didn't know what was wrong with it. I like that film, but I'm going to hand over to Charlie again. I don't know the background of this. I know it's got a very good cast for this film, but how excited are you? Again, there's no poster for us. There's no trailer that's released to the public. I know that they had Jamie Lee Curtis rock up in Professor X's chair from...
No! Oh, God! Stop it!
They look like it, though.
I cannot go. Okay, so she was in a doom buggy, not Professor X's chair, thank you. And also... I don't want to be that person, but Disneyland Paris does not have a haunted mansion.
I know.
It has a Phantom Manor. It's a different ride.
Either way, I've probably not been on it.
Well, they're all great. I mean, the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland in California is my favorite because at Halloween it gets a Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, which is just epic. Yeah, this is going to be great. I don't understand the hate for the Eddie Murphy film. I think it's great fun. I get it out every Halloween. I love it. And last year they did the Muppets Haunted Mansion, which was also awesome. Anyone who's a Muppet fan should watch it. Yeah, I can't wait. But like you say, we don't have much to go on at the moment. Is the cast even confirmed? Because I know Jared Leto's name was floating around, but I don't know if that's actually confirmed.
So they confirmed like the key casts, but then they also had a couple of cameos. So I know that Jared Leto is a cameo in the film.
Yeah, so I think he's playing the Hatbox Ghost, who is one of the original animatronics from the ride when it first opened in California.
The main trio they spoke about is Rosario Dawson, Lakeith Stanfield, and Owen Wilson. They're the three key cast
members. That's a weird group of people.
A lot of other ones, if people want to know the cameos, because this was confirmed, Winona Ryder was confirmed, Jared Leto, Jamie Lee Curtis, Danny DeVito as well. These were just the ones that appeared in the essay switch. And this is my kind of thing. Like to me, the word cameo has been like mass ruined now thanks to Marvel. Not in a bad Marvel way, but I think audience have lost perspective on what the word cameo means. These are probably like minor roles because they wouldn't announce them if they wanted to hide them. They wouldn't put them in convention footage if they wanted to hide them. They're just probably people that have chipped in. Again, I won't make a dig at Pinocchio, but in Pinocchio, like not Luke Wilson, Luke Owen, Gaston doesn't appear as Gaston, but he just pops up for a minute, and like, what's going on here? And then he's gone. And I wonder if Haunted Mansion might have that vibe in a much more polite way.
Well, I would imagine these big names will come in and just play ghosts, because there's obviously so many, for Disney park fans, there are so many really recognizable ghosts from the Haunted Mansion. Most of them have names. So I would imagine these like big names are just going to come in and play some of those ghosts, but maybe just in 1 or 2 scenes or something. But have we lost Dave?
Oh, we've lost Dave. I will fix the background as well. Whilst wait for Dave to come back, maybe there's ghosts. Who knows? I'm not going to be there when I make it.
Ghosts in the system.
But let's talk another one. Mufasa, the Lion King. I'm going to be the guy that says I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, and I was reading about it earlier today. And I didn't realize that there was actually like a set of novels which tell the story of the Lion King. That was new to me. My flatmate is a huge Lion King fan, and she was telling me that there's quite a lot of stories that we don't actually necessarily know from the film perspective of the Lion King. So this one's going to tell the story of Mufasa and Taka, who obviously ends up being Scar, as kids. And I think that's quite cool. I think that's quite nice that they're using this. I didn't like the live action Lion King, but it's nice that they're using this platform to kind of delve a bit deeper into lesser known stories about these characters. Because they could have quite easily just done the Lion King 2, which anyone who's seen the animated films already knows that story and the music and everything. But this gives them a chance to do something a bit more original.
And the big surprise, I mean, it's not really a surprise, it's no, but Barry Jenkins coming on board was probably the biggest surprise when it was announced. And I think, obviously, he did an Amazon series last year. We have a rogue Dave back. Dave, we're just talking Lion King. We'll get your Haunted Mansion thoughts just after. But
I'll jump back off.
What I saw though was like, they're doing like 2 narratives. Like, we're gonna have a story in the present and one in the past. I'm like, so you're gonna try to do like the Godfather 2 or something?
Oh,
like,
I didn't know.
I know we've got Timon and Pumbaa telling the story in the present.
So it is just the Lion King 2. That's exactly what happens or is that Lion King 3?
I don't know. I've not seen
exactly
2.5 or 1.5 or 9.75.
There is a great song in that film though, so I hope they put the tunnel digging song in, because I get that stuck in my head all the time.
I mean, we haven't. I don't think they've been. They showed footage to everyone in the crowd, and as you'd expect, they said it looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone can take that away from the 2019 version. I know there's always the discussion on you can't animate the eyebrows to have emotions, and I'm just sat there like, well, that's the whole purpose.
Did it look incredible?
Oh, but the visuals looked stunning. That's what. In the technical aspect, it is. You just obviously you can't emote photorealistic lions, can you? So
so why make a film about emotional lions?
Well, that's it. That's it, though. That's the big question, Disney. But now we're gonna literally get the Godfather 2. We're gonna see Don Corleone's rise to being king of the castle. And Dave, Lion King thoughts or Haunted Mansion to put onto a nicer perspective.
Haunted Mansion, I'm really looking forward to. I think the Eddie Murphy movie, I know you were talking about this before, got sort of a bad rap because it was Eddie Murphy when he was in his comedy thing, and it moved away from the movies everyone wanted Eddie Murphy to make. And so but it's a really fun little movie. It's one you just put on and kind of have a good time with. Lion King, I did quite like the remake that they did. Sorry, Charlie. I quite enjoyed that. I liked the way they did it. I know it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake, but lions look real. Woo. I don't know if you knew. I don't know if he didn't kill Scar. Spoiler. But I don't know if we need another deep dive into that world. I know they've got obviously the technology's there, so they're kind of like, look, we can do it pretty much. We can just do it now. We can shoot it, and it's great, and it's all there, and it's all this previs system that they had last time you saw the makings of. So I'm guessing they can kind of dip back in fairly easily now. They've got that sort of technology built. So I don't see why they do it, but I don't need it.
Like the Mandalorian, it's that because it's the Mandalorian is the evolution of that tech, isn't it, with Jon Favreau? And I think they build the sets virtually on computers, like using the gaming technologies, and they just go and put the camera in. So you think about it, it's like it's just before the volume. It's kind of the volume's the projection of the world they've done, if that makes sense. But hypothetically, unless there's new sets, they've already got it like made. They just literally need to just like pay for the visuals on the animals. That's an understatement, but yeah, it will be interesting. I'm curious to see how this is. Lion King's like the 2019 ones, like one of the, I think it's in the top 10 highest grossing films of all time, like 1.7 bill, which is insane. That 2019 summer is one of the most insane years in box office history. But and moving on from one Disney rape cover, we've got Snow White. Now, this is going to come out 2024. They showed some footage yesterday. If you do want some behind-the-scenes photos, there's the famous fire from last year. No one got hurt, so I don't mind making that joke. But you can see some of the set designs because of the fire at Pinewood. This is what I'm sort of really torn on because I've completely forgotten her name. That's Maria
Rachel
from
Zegler.
Rachel Zegler, I think, will be perfect, if I'm being honest. I'd completely forgot about the dwarves. I'd say that. I'm curious to see what they do. I know that they'd obviously spoken with actors and representatives, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But then Gal Gadot's playing the Queen, and sorry, I'm trying not hard to laugh.
Imagine.
Well, she said it's like her most like difficult role. I was like, you've literally like funded like the Israeli army for years, so you can't talk about like difficult consciences. But I can't get into the politics. Got a Munich review coming on Tuesday to plug Palestine versus Israel for anyone curious. But no, sorry, I took away from it. How do we feel about Snow? Listen, everyone wanted Lady Gaga. I think Lady Gaga wanted to have played the role as well, not Snow White, obviously the Queen. I think she'd have been great in it. I know we're now getting when Joker do, which I don't think anyone wants. But how do we feel? Snow White 2024 potential. I mean, it's the first Disney film, right? It could potentially be one of the biggest ones.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the trailer looks like. I mean, I really love Rachel Zegler. I think she's perfect casting. If they're going to do it, at least they've chosen someone good to play Snow White.
And she can sing.
She can really sing. Yeah, she's perfect.
Unlike the Imagine video.
Luckily, the evil queen doesn't have to sing. So I guess that's something.
Can't imagine all the people though. But
what a lockdown throwback.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. We should do that right now. Come on, we'll start.
Let's not.
No, you're right. Absolutely not. Let's drive the subscriptions down. I think she's perfect. She was such a standout in West Side Story. She was absolutely exemplary in that role, and she will pull off this with probably much aplomb, and she'll be great in it. It's the rest of the story surrounding it and how they work with that, and that's what I'm more interested to see. You can pick a perfect character to play your lead, and that's great. But now build the world around her as well, and that's what I'm to give us that before we can start to maybe judge how we're going to feel about that film.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And following on,
something else coming up soon, hasn't she? What's she in?
She's going to be in Shazam.
She's in the Hunger Games.
Oh yes, that. Now that's scheduled for the end of next year. I'm surprised if it'll meet that date because it's coming out the same day as Dune Part 2. That surely won't happen.
That's going to change.
Yeah, that has to change. Just for the sake of us being able to like schedule some videos because we're doing a James Bond series.
And for of Songbird and Snakes to not be an absolute massive tank at the box office, they need to change that date.
Yeah, the power of Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh will be too much to handle. But let's talk The Little Mermaid. One we can actually talk about. There has been a trailer released. Now, I was awake when this was being announced. So Lin-Manuel Miranda and Alan Menken have teamed up together. They've written 4 new songs for the film, which is pretty great. I think, I mean, Lin-Manuel's the guy to go to for new musicals. And, of course, Alan Menken's history with not with Disney, just as his career. You know, that's who you want. And Halle Berry, I think everyone's been having the conversation last day. No, not about other stuff. This isn't Halle Berry, the Oscar-winning actress that starred in Die Another Day and so many of the great films. This is a young up-and-coming actress. I don't know if it's pronounced Halle or Haley or how it is pronounced, so apologies, but I think she sounded great in the trailer. And you know what I'll say too? She looked great. And fuck the racists for anyone that wants to get started. Just fuck off, if you will. I'm sick and tired of just saying on every video now, like, it just does my head in, and I can't be asked to hear it for another franchise. But yeah, how are we feeling about The Little Mermaid?
I'll watch it. I probably won't like it. I haven't liked any of the live action remakes except for Pete's Dragon. So it's gonna be it's just gonna be another one of those for me. I think she's great casting. She's got a beautiful singing voice, which Ariel needs. I trust Lynn and Alan Menken to do something special and different with the music. And Jacob Tremblay is playing Flounder, and I love Jacob Tremblay. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's got a couple of good points, but generally I'm not excited about it.
I think I'm quite the opposite on this one. I think it's got too much riding the cast and things they bring together, and like Lin-Manuel coming in and Alan Menken coming back and new songs coming in. Obviously, it's not a Disney Plus. This is going to cinemas. Yes, it's not going to be a Disney Plus thing. So
a big one.
The fact that they're going to be putting this out there, I think, kind of tells you what they're going for. They're not. I think this could be maybe the first. You're right, Charlie. Some of the live action have felt so short of what they have already in animated form that didn't need to be done. But I really do think they could have something special on their hands with this. I just think the way it's been done, the opening footage of her, just the trailer that we've seen her swimming through just at the trailer, and then she's in the cave part where she keeps all her dingle hoppers and things like that. So it's gonna. I'm actually really looking forward, and I think when she sang, she sounded amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of ending with you, Dave. Like, I think they're really banking on this. To me, this is going to be like the next Beauty and the Beast. That I think this will be like the box office monster, and I think they're going to push the difference.
Without any auto tune at all.
Well, this is it. That's someone that can sing.
Is that supposed to make me excited for this film? Because it does the opposite.
I really liked that one. I mean, I think Gaston was the best thing in it.
Well, even with Emma Watson and her voice.
To be fair, Luke Evans is usually the best thing in everything.
Sensational, yeah, so, absolutely.
Like, that's not really set the bar that high.
No announcement on the not the Andor series, the Gaston series that was in production, the prequel.
Not gonna happen.
Very quiet. Josh,
they announced last year, didn't they? They'd gone away for a bit.
It's a shame. I mean, I think those two are the best things from it. Again, not everyone needs to have a show. We've got Sam in the comments. Can't stay for too long. He says we can have a great chat. Sam, obviously we'll get Star Wars. If you're around by the Star Wars, comment your Andor thoughts. If not, we'll bring them up anyway. But yeah, Sam will be with us on some Andor videos. We've got a lot to prepare for over the next few weeks. Let's move away from live action. Let's talk some Pixar, who's one of my favorite studios ever. I've just watched an amazing documentary on Pixar. It came out in 2007. I forgot the name of it. That's not my fault. I was doing the ironing, but it's about how they were not created, but it's called The Inside Story or something. Charlie, you've probably seen it.
That's the Inside Story.
Is that the one that's on the Monsters Inc. document? It was on the Monsters Inc. Blu-ray. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, great. Yeah.
The Little Mermaid looks like it could be good, but same as Charlie, another live action remake to throw me. So I'm not too confident about it. All the new Peter Pan and Sam, who joined us on our Hook review, will get that plugged again. No, excellent. So let's talk Pixar. And this is the thing that I think looks amazing. So they've announced, we knew Elemental was in production. It was a film about two elements, and we've got some, I think, if I'm going to be blunt, one of my favorite announcements of the night. This is going to be a romance film between a fire girl and Waterman. I really hope they keep them as the two names. Just Fire Girl and Waterman.
I love that.
Don't name them. It's like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like,
I was just
Fire Girl and Waterman. It is, isn't it? Like, it's amazing. And it's going to be a romance film, and those two can't touch each other. Details are very limited.
Like so many dates I've been on.
I hope Deb's not watching.
No.
Why does it sound like it's going to be the most like depressing film? Like when
it's almost
like you just know it's not going to be as like simple as it seems. And what kind of scared me is that like before they announced Inside Out 2, I was kind of like, oh, this is like a weird Inside Out type thing. It's like, because it's elements, fire and water. Maybe it's like Song of Ice. You'll get like Game of Thrones to pop up. How are we feeling about this film? Again, it's going to come out next year. There's not that much details at the moment, but I think certainly as a concept, I'm down for it.
I think the fact that there's not much, that we don't know much at the moment, is its biggest strength. That has always been what Pixar originally have always done very well. Unfortunately, that has slipped over the last few years, but Pixar kind of have two strands. Like they have the Inside Out, Soul, like those kind of slightly more intelligent stories, and then they've got the kind of like more child-friendly Luca, Cars, those kind of things. And this definitely falls into the Inside Out and Soul category, which are incredible. I mean, Inside Out was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars. Animated films just don't get
and
that.
best film, I think.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited for Pixar. I have to admit, though, I have been being promised a Brave sequel for the last 7 years, and I still haven't been given it. So I'm going to be honest, that is what I was waiting for on Friday, and it didn't happen. So of these Pixar announcements...
You just need to do what I've done about The Bug's Life too, and just, I've been waiting 20 years now, almost.
Yeah, but was Bug's Life 2 ever actually promised to you? Brave 2 was promised to me.
They turned up in Toy Story 2, and they were cast aside by Buzz's hand off a leaf. Like, did they die? Like, I want to know what happened to them.
As they fell, the next lot just stepped on them. It's an awful sequel. Just that little caterpillar just burst. Oh, awful.
I would watch that.
Don't step up, no. Awful. I mean, you're right. You give Pixar so many kind of chances just because they've had such this one. Yes, maybe they've had a couple that haven't excited us as much in the last few movies they've dropped. But I thought Turning Red was excellent. I thought it was really sort of a step back to where Pixar should be. So I'll always give Pixar a pass. I'll always jump onto it, ready to justice for Bugs Life too. We get t-shirts. And but yeah, so I think if they're some Pixar's gonna bring out a movie, I'm gonna be there. And I like the story behind it. I like these two elements, people that can't be together. Obviously, it's you have that in life, you have that through so many places and so many different relationships between different people and ages and sexes and races, and then it's just obviously to use two elements is a really nice way to kind of put it out there where you can then go, we're going to watch this and it's got this deeper meaning behind it, I'm sure. But absolutely, it's Pixar. Let's see what they've got coming for us.
Definitely. And another Pixar, we've got two more. They've got a Win or Lose, which is going to be their first ever TV series. It's going to be a point of view series about a sports team. It's going to go on Disney Plus. It's Pixar. It's got my backing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not like up myself like anti TV shows. Obviously, I just hope it's not like a lot of these short animated spin-offs they keep doing. I hope if it's a genuine. I don't know how many episodes they intend on doing, but there's potential there. But I'd say that I'm such a fan of Pixar as like a film studio. I'm not at the moment that fussed. Am I alone in that? Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched all their sort of series up till now. I've just finished watching Cars on the Road. I've watched The Monsters at Work, and they're great fun, but they're kind of like what you would see on the Disney Channel back in like 2005 on a Saturday morning. They're not, and they don't. There's no depth to them. They're just a bit of fun. But I think from the kind of vibe I get from Win or Lose, it's going to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more deep. Like it's going to be they're human characters as well, which is nice, a bit more sort of relatable maybe for people. And Disney in general have got quite a history of telling sports stories and being involved in sports, and they get a lot of their funding from places like ESPN, and so maybe there'll be a little bit more involvement from people from that industry as well. So hopefully try and tell this story, whatever the story may be, but do it right.
It's going to be. They haven't said which sport it is about yet, have they? Just that it's a team. So I think there's
it kind of. I got a
basketball, baseball. Yeah, it's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
American sports. So no, it'll be nice to see what they do with it. Like I say, they had these TV shows that I remember when I was growing up. You had your Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. You had your Scrooge McDuck and DuckTales and things like that. So they have real good shows. So that's obviously Disney, but I'd like Pixar to come in and really put out a great show. If it's about the humans, and there's great sports movies out there where I don't understand the sports, but the movies speak to me. So it would be really nice to get something that's really meaningful under that as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. And what would have been, I almost missed one. We've got the next announcement, a new original film. I don't know if it's pronounced Elio or Elio, E-L-I-O.
I think it's Elio.
It sounds about right. This sounds great. It's like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. A boy who finds himself transported across the galaxy and mistaken for the intergalactic ambassador for our planet Earth. That sounds like a great project. Maybe that's going to speak more to the younger audience, but I'm sold. Again, it's an original story, and although we're going to talk about a sequel in a minute, how nice is it that Pixar just didn't come out and say, here's like 6 sequels in development for everything. It's nice, but going back to that original story, you know, they've got directors attached to these projects. Adrian Molina is doing Elliot, Peter Sohn's doing Elemental. A lot of it, obviously, with Pixar is always in-house as well, which has always, to me, made them stand out as their own company. They do look for the in-house teams to, you know, give younger animators and editors, let them rise with the ranks and do their own films. I think that's such a massive part of why they're a successful company. And I think that's what I think stands them above a lot of others. They seem, if you've got a creative concept idea, you do have a very good chance of that becoming a reality. And I've got a lot to respect. But how are you feeling about that one as well? That's March 2024, that release date.
I mean, you've just said everything that we know about it so far, so there's not really much to go on. But I think it'll be, again, like you've just said, it's an original story, so it'll be great fun. There is I don't know why they had to go with the name Elio, because that's obviously the lead character in Call Me By Your Name, and Luca got a lot of comparisons to Call Me By Your Name. Somebody at Pixar really likes that film, so that's fine, but I feel like it was a bit weird. But yeah, and what you were saying is all about Pixar, people rising through the ranks. Peter Sohn actually started at Pixar as a voice artist, so he's gone right through it, from starring as I don't mean to belittle voice acting, but voice actor up to director of the latest release. Like that's cool. Like, and he's done a couple so far. He did Good Dinosaur, which some people didn't like. I really like it. But yeah, so it's exciting to see what we'll get from Elio.
They have a trope with Pixar for their movies. This one's about about a boy who doesn't fit in and is then taken away. So they tend to use their platform to kind of tell stories about the not outcasts, but, you know, people who need to maybe see themselves more in a screen and not kind of pushed in a way of like, oh, you're an outcast, so now we're going to have to tell a story about a kid at school. Getting them to go across the galaxy to become representative of Earth is just this. You kind of could feel that swelling inside of a kid who's watching those, maybe having an adult who's having a hard time watching that and going, you know what, that's fine, look at this. And I like the way Pixar have that behind their stories. And again, they're kind of relaying that. I say Turning Red was that, and Luca I thought was wonderful with that as well, about a boy finding a friend, and it was just beautiful. And so I think this will be along the same lines in that sort of Luca area. But yeah, bring it on. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
And next up, we have one that leaked on Friday, which is a massive shame this had to leak, which would have been a massive announcement. Inside Out 2. It's going to come out in June 2024. And I think everyone would have been excited had we not had the obvious information that's come out following this. Is that, of course, Amy Poehler's returning. Love Amy Poehler. And I think I speak for probably everyone when they say they really enjoyed the first Inside Out film. But it's not one character that makes that film. It's all of them. And we are losing Mindy Kaling and Bill Hader, who played Disgust and Fear. And this is all down to salary disputes. Some more details have come out in the public eye. They were both offered $100,000 to be in the film. Again, this is of reports. This isn't my facts. And Amy Poehler, for comparisons, got a $5 million salary for this. And they were, well, I don't want to say disgusted as a joke to the character, but obviously they aren't returning. And Disney have announced that new emotions will take their place. I'm just going to be blunt and say I wish it was all of the cast returning or none of them. That's how I feel. I love the first Inside Out. I wept like a child at the cinema. It's the most uncomfortable cinema trip of my life because I didn't know it was the first day of the summer holidays. I went by myself, and it was like lunchtime carnage, and I felt awful. I just felt like people would be staring at me. So yeah, I'm traumatized for many different reasons from Inside Out, not just the film. And it's one of my favorite Pixar films. So yeah, hopefully I won't be going alone to see that one. I'll make sure if I do, it'll be a late showing where there'll be no children.
Is that do I go now?
You can. Sorry, it's such a traumatizing story. I always have to tell it to people.
I have got so much to unpack about Inside Out 2. I don't even really know where to start. I don't think we need this film. Inside Out is all round perfect, like perfect Pixar. Disgust is my favorite character. So I'm gutted about that. I don't know. I think they need to be incredibly careful with this, because I think there'll be people who are going to be really disappointed. Maybe that'll be one of the emotions. Who knows? And also, there was, when the first film came out, you know how you guys probably already know this, but the parents have female emotions and male emotions. Riley has a mix of gendered emotions, and they said that when they made that decision was because she is a child, so she is currently in a state of maybe she doesn't entirely know who she is as a gender. So I kind of hope that there might be some kind of build on that, because we really need to start introducing non-binary, gender fluid characters into these stories, because Disney are so scared to do it. And I think this is just the most perfect opportunity for them. So we'll see. And I also really hope one of the new emotions is sarcasm, and I hope they're British.
Oh, yes. That would be so perfect. But Rickman's not here to play it anymore, so we can't.
Oh, true. Yeah, maybe don't bother.
That would be too, yeah. Yeah, it's a strange. Another thing, now we're going to have this, she's now going to be a teenager, and we're going to be getting that side of her emotions. And I just think you lose to big, I love Bill Hader so much that is going to be such a big miss to that story. And it's like I'm really disappointed that we're not going to get everybody back if they bring it back. And without that, is there really, like Charlie just said, is there really any need for this story? You can tell this in so many other movies. You don't have to go to an Inside Out again. Tell the story of a teenage girl. You've kind of, again, I'll bring back I forgot its name. Inside. Yeah, sorry, that's it. Dear me, I forgot its name. I talked about it twice. I know. So I mean, they've already started, so that they could go along that sort of line again if they want to tell more of this teenage girl story. They don't need to go back to those. And yeah, I just think when you hear about the wage discrepancy between bringing people back, and it's just like, you know what, I get why these actors, it's 100 grand's not exactly that's the figure that's being talked about. It's not like, it's not like pittance, but still, I get why in the age that we're in, where wage disparity and equality between people is really important, especially in Hollywood over the last few years, for this to then come out as the reason, it's like, just kind of puts a bit of a ick on it. I think is more the term for it to be like, you know what, I don't need it now then.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky one. I'm kind of glad we said Charlie as well about Pixar, because we know they are trying to push like the boundaries that they're, I think Luca's the one where a lot of people, certainly when it was announced, I thought, oh my god, we're getting the first like 2 gay Pixar characters in a really good way. Then I saw the film and I was like, they wanted, you could tell they wanted to do it. And obviously over the year we had news reports that Pixar have pushed to get this. We of course had the Kiss in Lightyear, which the absolute morons online were crying and screaming about, usual suspects, usual channels. And you could tell Pixar's trying to push it forward, and I think that's a really good point we said there, that it would be interesting to see what they do, and a film like Inside Out is the time to do it. Also, kids don't know. There's no politics to a child. They're being brought up now in eras where stuff like this is more current, and you'll recognize more people, more cultures, all that sort of stuff. It's these psychotic parents and absolute bizarre far right wingers that are just so alienated to it, and they want to just attack, and Disney to really, I mean, Bob Chapek got booed at D23, which is your CEO gets booed at your own convention on the Legends panel. I bet they regret giving him that contract now, because that is not a good look. No matter, he can grow a beard, but no one's going to hide the fact of who he is. But moving on from Pixar, we're going to go to Disney. No, Dave, you're safe. It's just you. It'd be like if I was like, oh,
thank goodness.
It'd be like me like saying to Dave, you're doing a terrible job on this channel. Don't come back. Just grow a beard, and no one will recognize you. And
absolutely,
it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'm glad he got booze. That's what Disney animated. This one we're gonna, I think, probably fly for a bit quicker. Zootopia Plus coming to Disney Plus. I've never seen Zootopia, so I'm gonna pass. Zootropolis was the UK title. It's one of those. It's a 6-episode anthology series about some characters, so I'm just going to pass over to you guys. Charlie, I've seen less than half of the original, so...
I just don't even know why you're covering D23.
Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Everything Disney had to buy.
Yeah. Anyway, no, Zootropolis, as it's known over here. So I guess it'll be Zootropolis Plus. I don't know. It's a great film. I think this will be good fun. I think it might appeal to younger audiences, maybe. I think it's just lots of fun characters, great sort of like clever landscapes and bright colors and all that kind of thing. I don't think it's going to be anything too heavy, really, but who knows? I might be wrong.
Yeah, again, you should really see the movie. That's your next retrospective. You're going to see the Disney movies from start to finish, all the classics.
Please, I'm in.
That's where you go.
The thing is, I know most of them, they're behind me on the shelf. That's what makes it worse.
Don't admit that if you
Some of the
haven't
South
watched
back there.
them.
No,
I've got like 100+ films like behind me I just haven't seen. It's
Anyway,
it's an addiction to buying them.
This will be great. It'll be, I think you're right. I think it's gonna be aimed at a younger audience. Those characters kind of appeal that, but the actual film is really, really great. You should definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would like to. One day I will. Don't get me wrong. And next up, we have. I'm going to apologize in advance to any African viewers at home because I don't know if this is based off a real place. Iwaju, IWAJU. This is a really interesting one. A coming of age story for Walt Disney Animated Studios. A love letter to Lagos and Nigeria. It's been relegated to Disney Plus. I don't know if this is a film or a series.
Yeah,
the photos look pretty cool. But if this is a film, I think it's a shame that that's been dropped onto Disney Plus. Again, if there's more details, we can probably comment further. Anyone got any thoughts on that? Because it's there's not much there, if I'm being honest.
No, this is the first I've heard of it. I have no thoughts.
I think they only announced. They only gave us one. Did they give you? There was a drawing of her. I think a very. Right. I think that's like a pinkish screen. There's a drawing of her. And I saw some people on Twitter like, wow, another black Disney princess. And that was kind of exciting. Great. But you're right, we got nothing else outside of that to kind of tell us if it's going to be a movie or it's going to be what. So, yeah, I think there's more to come from that. But yeah, you're right, there's nothing to kind of comment on right now.
And then we've got Strange World, which is coming out in November. I think November 23rd. I could be wrong. Exclusive footage for them in the crowd. So I don't, if you want to push on to the next one, which I think is going to be interesting.
All I have to say about Strange World is that Disney seemed to have forgotten about it. And
yeah, that's not. If it's coming out the same day as something big.
2 months.
It's the one trailer as well that's played for months. That trailer, and they've never changed. They've never given you a second trailer to kind of give you any story. It's just like, look, we can make rocks walk.
Yeah, it's weird. But I mean, maybe it'll be great. But
it looks really trippy. I think it could be a really good adult midnight showing one. Like really get buzzed and just go, let's go watch this. It's gonna be great.
During like, I don't know, after having no sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam's gonna watch some Disney with us. Well, that Star Wars celebration is sorted, then, isn't it? We'll be watching Disney films.
Oh no, hotel room on a night watching Disney classics.
Oh god.
Saves queuing overnight. And then here's the announcement. This has caused a bit of controversy, actually, which is interesting. A new film called Wish has been announced. This is the 100th anniversary film for Walt Disney Studios to come out next year. And this is going to be about the star they wish upon at the beginning. We've got this is what I'm really excited for, the new character Asher, which is going to be voiced by Ariana DeBose, who was bloody amazing in West Side Story. They're really bringing us from the West Side Story people. And the animation is going to be 3D, but the colors are going to be watercolors, which makes it, but from the sound of it, that could actually have a really different animation style. What people are sort of moaning about is the concept that you're doing a film based off a star which is from fairy tales. My star knowledge isn't there. I don't mind that. I'm curious. I don't know if it's a bit on the nose. Like, let's give the star in the intro a backstory. I
don't really understand why that's a problem. Like if it's
I don't really know. I don't know if someone knows a backstory to a star. I don't really care because it's Ariana DeBose, so I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. My biggest issue so far, I have no idea what that animation is going to look like. I'm quite excited to see what that's going to be. My biggest issue at the moment is the title. I do not like that. Wish. It just seems really like.
Can they even trademark it because of wish.com?
Couldn't they have just like. Just like bumped it up a bit, like even if it was just like a wish or the wish or I don't know, just wish. I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. But
Upon a Star is a much better title. Just Just cut the wish out. Upon a Star is a much
On
better
a
title.
Star, that would be so good. Why didn't Dave? Why don't you work for Disney?
See, why aren't I working for Disney? Damn it! We'll be here with you people.
You could just hire me
no,
to run Lucasfilm.
Absolutely, everybody, come on. It's a really tough one. So it's like Disney. It's going to be an animated thing, so it can be about anything. It doesn't matter. It's a speck of dust. If it's an emotion, if it's an element, we've seen these things coming out. An elephant that flew because it had big ears. Look, it's Star, and if it's got a smiley face or it hasn't, and you know what? They're going to put everything into this. They're not going to get the caliber of actress they've got coming in to play this and be like, this is going to be terrible. Please come and play the Star.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do with it before we all pitchforks out again.
I hope they have like a little, very marketable little cute Star sidekick that I can buy. To go with all my other sidekicks that I buy, even if I don't like the film.
If A Simple Wish wasn't already a film, it could have been better. Jake.
Oh, yeah.
I was on it. Right, that's Friday done. Now let's move on to today, crikey.
Gosh, I'm exhausted.
So, today's panel, 3 hours. I think this is going to be... I mean, some of these, there's like nothing to say for some of these, which is probably actually us aiming at Marvel. But let's go into Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm opened up the panel. They went for an hour and 15 minutes, which was pretty great. I was like, haha, Lucasfilm's got an hour and 15, and Marvel, we got 40 minutes, including Avatar. How wrong was I? It kick-started with the entire Andor cast coming out, showrunner as well. They unveiled the final trailer for Andor. Of course, streaming Wednesday, the 21st of September, episodes 1 to 3. I've got that ingrained in my mind. How are we feeling about today's new trailer? Because I'm just going to be blunt, and I'm Charlie. This is going to hurt you probably more than Dave. I'm so sorry you were ill. You missed the Rogue One event, which was amazing. It was great. And we got some behind-the-scenes footage, which is now on Disney Plus as part of Disney Plus Day. I'm already hyped for Andor. Like, I've been on this hype train for a while. We've got a Rogue One video coming at some point next week or the week after. We're going to do pre-Andor, which is from I need to try to schedule it in. I'm already hyped for this show. I didn't need the trailer today, and a lot of it was recycled footage. At the same time, I just didn't care. I'm so excited for this series. It's genuinely, if I'm going to be outright blunt, this could actually be better than The Mandalorian. Off everything I've seen and read, this 2 seasons might genuinely be 24 of the best episodes in Star Wars history.
Wow, I mean, no pressure. What about Obi-Wan? Is it going to be better or worse than Obi-Wan? Where do you sit there, George?
Wow, it's tough. There's like 6-episode miniseries versus like 2 seasons spanning 5 years of like politics and stuff. Obviously, it's more like, without getting to current politics, I'm far more invested in that, I guess, as I'm older. But I just think everything I've seen about Andor to me is just defy all expectation. When they announced Andor, I was like, what? Andor? Like, of all the Rogue One cast, what about Krennic? Listen, I love Diego Luna, but just, again, everything that's come out about this series, it feels different whilst feeling familiar, and I think I haven't felt that for a while with Star Wars.
And I think because it's got Rogue One to rest on as well, which is so many people's, like, one of their top Star Wars films, you know, I think we are in for a real treat with this series, and I can't wait.
I am just, I can't even describe how excited I am for this. It's going to be a weird week. We get a bank holiday here in the UK because of the Queen, God rest her soul. And so we're getting a bank holiday here in the UK, which is great for the Monday. But then I'd already taken the Wednesday off because I want to sit and binge this as a movie. My son goes to school, drop him at school, and then just
watch it on repeat.
Oh, honestly, I honestly echo George's sentiment. I think this could be some of the best Star Wars we get. Everything I've seen, just more and more I've seen nothing that makes me go, maybe it won't be that good. Every frame I've seen just energizes me with like, I love Star Wars. I really do.
Yes, Star Wars.
It's literally that. And it's just from casting to the way it looks to the view we've got of the Phase 2 clone troopers today in the trailer, and just everything screams quality in this. Like, have you seen the clip where they had the orchestra playing on the set?
Yes,
while they were doing things. Oh my God, it's gonna be good.
I mean, it's Nicholas Britell from Succession, and like,
Yeah.
I'm so excited over the fact that every episode's going to have a different version of the main theme. I'm like, that's the Succession soundtrack. Like, almost every single song's the theme done differently across the episodes, and there's to me, there's nothing that looks wrong about what's going to happen with this series. Everything looks like it's going to be on point. I don't feel they've missed it. We've got Sam, who mentioned earlier. Andor has me excited anyway. This new Star Wars trailer adds to the excitement, plus the trailers for Tales of Jedi Mando. We've got more Star Wars. I know you've got to go soon. Sam will bring an indie comment when we're on Indiana Jones. And we've got JD back in the comments. Good to see you, my friend. Haven't seen a lot of these recent Disney Pixar films or recent shows. My favorite Pixar is WALL-E. Got to catch up to you all. Hey, WALL-E, the first ever Disney Criterion Collection film. That was a surprise.
There's more money I don't need to spend. Thanks, Criterion.
Yeah, Andor. Listen, there's going to be Andor discussions over the next few months. I don't mind saying this on the stream, Dave. On a few episodes, I might not be able to be there, or others might not be able to be there. You've opted to host, so you'll be the first. You'll be the first person, not me or Tate, to actually host, which is really exciting. No pressure. I'll be watching from the horizons. But
help me.
Andor's going to be exciting. It's going to be so exciting, and I don't want to tease too much, but obviously I will say keep an eye on the channel for a Rogue One video, again, potentially end of next week. And keep an eye out on the channel on, I don't want to say Monday the 19th because that date might now move, but Tuesday the 20th of September, there's an embargo lifting, and there may be room for...
I'm checking my calendar. Have I committed to
No. It's basic. I don't mind saying this. It's going to be the first Star Wars show they're handing out press screeners for, but I don't want to get carried away until it's in my account and I'm watching it. I can't wait to see my giant watermark of my name while I'm trying to watch Star Wars. But anyway, let's quickly move on from that because Sam mentioned Tales of the Jedi trailer. This is the one I think. You think you missed the Clone Wars and then you see a new series set before the Clone Wars. Young Count Dooku, this incredible trailer, animation on point. October 24th or 26th, sorry, I've forgotten which one I've written down. I'm going to binge all of this. This series looks phenomenal, and I just hope they just keep making this for years. Pick a Jedi, give us a backstory, go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree, and it's got Ahsoka in, so I'm on board. I'll watch anything with her, and honestly, her stories will just forever be so special to me, and I just think it's about time we start getting a bit more of her where she doesn't just shadow Anakin or whoever, give her a platform. And I think this series might do that for her. So yeah, buzzing, can't wait.
Yeah, it looked incredible. The animation style obviously back with the Clone Wars style that we had, and we obviously know how close they got to perfection with Series 7. Series 7 of the Clone Wars, which was phenomenal. Obviously getting some excerpts from probably based more along the book where she's getting chased by Inquisitors. So I think that's going to be really exciting as well. I don't know if they said how long the episodes are going to... They're short, but
I think they're short. I think maybe 10 minutes an episode I'm going to bet on. I think they showed one at Celebration, didn't they? Ahsoka's first episode. But is it 6 episodes, 3 per character?
Yeah, I think so.
Character. So you're getting the Ahsoka arc, then a Dooku arc, and the Dooku stuff looks incredible as well. Just everything that you saw, again, every frame, that young Qui-Gon Jinn looked incredible. We saw Padme's funeral as well, I think, which is why Sam's put that in there. Yeah, so that's going to be why that's there. Is Ahsoka there? Is there? I guess Dooku maybe it links into, but had he not left by the craziness? I can't wait to see what they do. But yeah, I'm so excited again. Go to a different level, and I just think we've got stuff coming that is, you're not going to need to see the Clone Wars. They could literally do this style and go, right, we're going to pick someone from the original trilogy now. We'll do a story for this for 10 minutes. And now we'll grab Rey and we'll do a story with Rey.
Yeah. I guarantee you, Dave Filoni will be like, "Oh, this was good," and now it's Plo Koon's time. That's his dream. Ahsoka was first up because he's contractually obligated to do Ahsoka first. Then it'll be Plo Koon, and what I love though, we're just getting a split too. We're getting a dark side and a light side story, and I think that just makes it more exciting long term. Are there other characters they could do this for? Could you do? Yeah, if you're going to stick to Clone Wars era, could you do Grievous? Could you do others? It's really interesting. And speaking of that Clone Wars animation style, we'll move on to Bad Batch Season 2. Not September as they originally thought. January the 4th, 2023. 16 episodes going to be on there. 2 episodes on the premiere day. Fun fact: check out my Kevin Kiner interview. He was up to episode 14, scoring at the time of that interview going up. So that's on the channel back from July, which is pretty amazing. Sam has got to go. Sam, we'll see you later. We'll have you on some Andor videos, of course, and some other ones coming up. And Sam did join us for War of the Worlds, which came out on Tuesday. How are we feeling about Bad Batch? I think it was us three that did the Bad Batch.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like this isn't a disrespect to the Bad Batch because that Camino ending arc was some of the greatest animated stuff I've seen in Star Wars. I don't want to say couldn't care less, but now I've seen Tales of the Jedi trailer, I'm just sort of there like, oh, the Bad Batch is happening too. I think once Tales of the Jedi comes and goes, I'll probably be more in the mindset because I had really good stuff at Celebration. But how are we all feeling about Bad Batch Season 2?
I'm total opposite. I cannot wait. I loved Bad Batch. Like, I felt so invested in it. And also for me, because I came to the animated series fairly late compared to you guys, I kind of binged all the others. Whereas for this one, because I got to see it weekly released, I felt like I could really absorb it. And like, I just loved it. And Omega is very slowly becoming one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So I'm really excited to see what happens next.
I was with, because I know when Bad Batch was going to come out, the first series, I was very much like, meh, I'll watch the first episode and see if I enjoy it. But it absolutely hooked me from the opening Order 66. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm back in. So I am quite looking forward to seeing what they do with the story and where the continuation of obviously the Empire's rise in the background of that, which I think's a bit more interesting than some of the stuff. They got a bit like Adventure of the Week sort of thing towards maybe the back end of the first season of Bad Batch, where like now we need to go off and do this, where they lost all the stuff with I've got his name, and the clone who
Hunter.
No, the clone who he's the good guy. One went off and got scarred, and it's like everybody's going to be Dengar. He's not, and who knows? Doesn't matter. Anyway, someone will comment about this that you know his name. I can't think of it.
Phil.
So
if you're watching,
Phil will be throwing things at the screen right now and come around my house, knock my door, and tell me right to my face. But yes, so look, I am excited to see it again. I want to see where they go, where in the timeline we kind of get to. I think Omega's got a bigger role to play in all of this as well. So her growth into this band of brothers that she's now taking on as a family, I think will be a really nice dynamic as well. So yeah, I'm really quite excited to see it. That's been put back. We are getting Tales of the Jedi sort of in the date slot that we're going to get, so we're getting something else. But yeah, it'll be nice to start the new year to get that.
Definitely. And following that, for some reason they cut away from Star Wars and went to Willow, just because it, not as a dig at Willow, just it was weird to like drop off Star Wars then go back to it after. But I'm really looking forward to Willow. So again, I've not seen the original. I've heard amazing stuff. I know they covered it in the ILM documentary, some of the behind the scenes stuff. I'm a big fan of Ron Howard. Recommend 13 Lives. Obviously, he's not doing this. He's involved as the producer, but he's not directing the series. This looks great. And we're in this... Again, fantasy isn't my strongest suit in terms of genre. But right now, we exist in a world where we have Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings airing weekly at the same time. And it's this very rich fantasy era we're in now. And I think Game of Thrones has done a lot to push the genre onto TV, high-budget TV as well, certainly. But for Willow to return 30-plus years later, I think for someone that doesn't know the story, I know the bits of it, not obviously all of it, I'm really excited to see this because I think it looks phenomenal. And again, it was shot on location, most of it in Wales. And I know that Lucasfilm have took their time to make this series. They've not rushed it. They've had the right people come back. They've let it build up. I thought the trailers today looked great, and I'm sold. And I'll probably just be bluntly and say there'll be a review of the original on the channel before the season drops. I know it's going to be weekly, November 30th, but I'm excited to cover that.
Yeah, I love the original. I love it. It's like one of those proper, like, old school fantasy adventure films. Like, there's nothing like it. It's just so like wholesome and enjoyable and silly, and like all the family can get together and watch it. And it, even though yes, it does look like it's aged, it doesn't look dated. It doesn't look old and unenjoyable because it was made when it was. And yeah, the ILM documentary obviously talked about how incredible the visual effects were when it was made. I can't wait. I cannot tell you. This is probably the thing from today that I'm most excited about. Like, I just can't wait. I think it's just going to be wonderful, and I know that it means a lot to Warwick Davis to get this back up and running, and he's been so involved in the process, and it's just, I'm so excited.
No, I think it's going to be excellent. I love the first Willow film. I'll put it out there, and sorry guys, but I'm not a Game of Thrones person. I'm not a Lord of the Rings person. I don't.
Oh, Lord of the Rings, yes. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. I've never seen a frame. I'm really sorry. I've not seen any of it. I'm that person. And so this is kind of it's my childhood. I saw Willow when I was but a child. I was old enough when it came out to see it and things like that because of how old I am. I'm too old for this demographic on this channel. So it's but no, so I'm really important to see Warwick Davis reprising this role. To see, obviously, they've got the again a younger generation of people around him, and it's magic and it's fantasy, and I just think it's going to be a really wonderful take your mind out, just enjoy a bit of spectacle and that little bit of just fun and whimsy and magic, and it's kind of, you get with Warwick Davis and you get this sort of little Harry Potter vibe, sort of like that, just the feeling of it, not like that's how it's going to be, but that sort of feel of just something go, I'm just here and there's magic and it's going to be fun and adventures, and I think it's going to be great as well.
For me, it kind of falls into the same category as like Neverending Story and Labyrinth, and Dark Crystal's a bit more gloomy, but it's that same kind of like, it's raining on a Sunday afternoon and no one knows what to do. Let's just throw Willow on and have a good time. Like, it's just wonderful. I love it.
I mean, Neverending Story's been on the news, aren't they? Everyone's in a bidding war, all the studios, to get the rights, aren't they, at the moment? So
if they remake Neverending Story, I quit Planet Earth.
It's just been on the news this week. That's all. People are bidding.
That film is so.
I can't watch the Force go again. I can't watch it.
At least no one's going to attempt Labyrinth, though. We're safe. We got our Labyrinth reunion by them playing Bowie in Top Gun with Jennifer Connelly. That will do most people. So leaving Willow and going back to Star Wars, we had what we thought would be one of the main events. I'm not going to talk about moaning or whatnot. We had Ahsoka not come out, the actress. We just had Dave Filoni, of course, Big Dave, in the hat, as one expects, with Jon Favreau to talk about the Ahsoka series. They call it his magnum opus, which is a word that's overused a lot, but I think anyone that knows Star Wars, that knows Filoni, knows that Ahsoka is his Star Wars. And I think magnum opus is the correct term. Like, when he first jumped on Mando, everyone's like, I bet Dave Filoni wants to do like a live action Ahsoka, don't they? And then he did it, and then he put her in Mandalorian, and everyone's like, I bet he's going to get his own series, isn't he? And he did. And he deserves it. He deserves it. The character deserves it as well. And we just had a couple of stills. I know on the news on Friday, we had it come out that we have an actor confirmed to play Ezra. I think a lot of people thought they might then officially announce the cast today, but they didn't. Really weird announcement timing, the day before D23. But obviously, I think they announced, I can't remember if it had wrapped or if it's still shooting. But obviously, we have a TBC confirmed cast on that series, and just 2 stills released today, both of which were from the leak trailer and Celebration. So I'm not going to lie, that was surprising to have no info. But at the same time, I understand that's going to be out after Mandalorian Season 3, which is where we're going to... Actually, no, sorry, I'm not going to jump in. You guys talk about Ahsoka. Sorry, I just realised that was me being really rude.
It's fine. You just skip us. It's not a problem. I love her. I love Rosario Dawson. Dave Filoni's just going to have had a great time with this. Like, it's going to be definitely. I mean, I don't think I'm quite as hyped about it as I will be a bit closer to the time. I think that's probably because of Andor, like a little bit distracted by that at the moment. But yeah, this is going to be massive for me because of, like, as I said earlier, I just love the character. Do we know if all the rebels are going to be in it? Has anything been...
Probably not Kanan.
3 so far. Yeah, no, really crispy Kanan. Just spoiler alert. If anyone's not seen Rebels, by the way. Sorry. World Between Worlds, he's fine. But yeah, this is going to be, I think, when he says magnum opus for Dave Filoni, we've got to also put this was probably one of the last original characters that George Lucas also had a hand in creating and putting out into the Star Wars world. who was universally probably despised a lot by the majority of fans. When she came in, and then has grown into the most beloved Star Wars characters by the time they are now. So to get her in an live action series, the fact it's going to tie in Rebels is great. You haven't seen Rebels. What is? I don't think they're necessarily that you have Rebels. If you're going to go the same, that's the big thing. I guess you miss out big chunk of information and who this Ezra is in the lore. There's such a rich history going into a live action series from an animated show. I can't wait to see how they pull that off to move from one genre to the other. I mean, it's done very well, so it probably will flow very freely. One of the next where you might think, oh, kind of going to the next series of Rebels. But I can't wait to see how they do it. But I can't wait. One thing I can't wait to do is revisit Rebels before I watch it as well and kind of go into that flow with it.
I'm with you on that, and this is what's kind of great. Like, I think I've said this to everyone, like, behind the closed doors. I don't mind again saying this on streams. Like, when Ahsoka comes out, we will review Rebels on this channel. We'll do each season in the build-up. Not obviously, it will all be pre-recorded because I'm not going to make any monster watch like a season a week. That's just disgusting. But judging of how little info was given today, in the most selfish standpoint, I'm also sat there smug like, we're going to get everything at Celebration in April. All of us there are going to get we're going to get trailers, we're going to get the cast. I think we're going to get everything there.
We're
this is
smart.
the kind of
we're going to be so giddy on a night, just skipping out.
and this is how I kind of am like with like the whole D23 celebration stuff, that it's like tactical marketing that certainly because Celebration was originally going to be the end of August, and then they pulled it back to May. That's why I had to give them my ticket because I couldn't do the 4-month sort of pullback type thing. But there would have been nothing to have announced that wouldn't be at D23. And in turn, they've not actually announced an awful lot, which kind of works in the favor for Celebration next year. We'll get into Indiana Jones after Mando, but I think that's obviously where there's going to be probably the delicate conversation of marketing. But moving on from that, we've got Skeleton Crew, a show that was announced at Celebration. Did they say it started filming the week before? And at D23, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, it's wrapped now.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it only just got going. And we've got a photo of Jude Law in costume. Just in a leather jacket and a scarf. I was like, are we sure he's in costumes? I'm not behind the scenes. But listen, I love Jude Law. He's come back to D23 to say he's wrapped on another project. He's gone in for the night. So, how are we feeling? Actually, what's worth mentioning, Skeleton Crew. So, oh dear me, how have I forgot the director's name? Who did Spider-Man: Homecoming?
John Watts.
John Watts. So this is what's the incredible behind the scenes. Jon Favreau obviously worked on the Spider-Man films with him. He approached him to direct an episode of The Mandalorian. And that then turned into him saying, well, actually, I've got an idea for a Star Wars series, and that's how we have this show. So I'm very curious. Again, story is the same as April. Young adults. I'm calling it Stranger Things in Space. Sounds like the same vibe, which I've got no problem if it's great. It'll be really cool to see it in a sci-fi type thing. But how are we feeling about this project out of the blue? Again, this might be one that, again, lends itself to Celebration in April, because Lucasfilm know Celebration is their big thing. And I think Disney is still trying to figure out how does Lucasfilm fit. The same with Marvel and San Diego. How do they tailor to both conventions? Because they're all set in certain calendar points as well. Skeleton Crew, how are we all feeling?
Don't really know anything about it. So it's Star Wars. It's got Jude Law in, and I like John Watts as director, so I guess I'll probably quite like it. I don't know. We just don't really know enough yet.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge. It's like you say, it's Stranger Things in Space. It's going to be Super 8 in like that sort of genre of young adult material, but they've got this A-list actor who's who knows how big a role he actually plays in it, if he's a big part or he's just in sort of a couple episodes to kind of like, hey, it's Jude Law, kids. But it's
Dumbledore.
He's kissing the boy. What? Oh, the outrage! It'll be awful. So yeah, look, it's gonna be something that we'll all watch. I'm not gonna say, I'll see what it's like. Of course, I'll sit and I'll watch it. It's something that is coming, and it's a really big pull for like Jude Law's not just like one of those actors. They think, oh, right, he's coming to Star Wars. That's nice. That's a really big pull for them. So I think you're right. Celebration is going to be this big announcement where we're going to get to see all kinds of trailers if we get into the convention rooms, because they won't show us on our phones and things. So we by hook or by crook, and I think it's going to be a lot more information come then. But it was a really weird sort of announcement, like, here he is and finished, and here's a picture. Bye. Thing.
He's really ticking off the franchises now, isn't he?
Oh,
He's got Potter, Marvel, and Star Wars under his belt. What's next? Star Trek?
Has he done...
watch Star Trek? Is that still a thing?
You know what? As someone that doesn't watch Star Trek in the future, he'd actually probably really fit in well with Star Trek. Like, he's got in a very weird complimentary. He's got like a very clean face. Like,
he's got a very clean face.
Like, you know how like they say it's like the Apple.
I wish I
Store,
had his
like,
face.
And
not like
him in
by
AI.
itself, that'd be weird.
We'll plug the AI review. He played a gigolo AI robot. Yes, that happened. It's a very weird film, but I actually quite enjoyed it. It's very, very, very weird film. I'm just going to say, but it's Jude Law. And kind of following Skeleton Crew, a trailer for a series I think won't be at Star Celebration, because I think the series have aired by then. The Mandalorian season 3. This looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
I know a lot of it is from footage back from Celebration again. But it's nice to get it out properly in HD and 4K for us to view at home in our environments. I can't wait to show my dad later on. But again, I don't even need a trailer to sell me the series. I'm in. I'm just going to say it once again, this is one of Star Wars' biggest ever properties already. And I still maintain my belief that if this wants to end with a film, or this whole Ahsoka universe, Fett universe, end on a gigantic Star Wars film set between 6 and 7, this will be one of the highest grossing films in history. I maintain that's how big The Mandalorian's got. And I think because it will be over 2 years between series when the time it comes out, the demand will be there. I can't wait. It looks great. I can't read anything more than that.
Yeah, no, me too. And actually, I think the interesting thing about Mando is I know so many people that watch it that are not Star Wars fans. Like, I don't think I know anyone that hasn't seen it. And I think that's partly to do with, like, Disney Plus launching, and it was like a huge thing to come out on Disney Plus, and so a lot of people got into it there. But also because the sheer quality of it is just so good that you don't necessarily need to know everything there is to know about Star Wars to enjoy it and to appreciate it. So season 3 is just going to build. I hope will just build on what is already incredible, and it'll make everybody forget about Boba Fett, which would be a good thing.
Oh, I like Boba Fett. Most of it.
Great theme. And that's the one episode I missed when you were covering it on the channel. The one episode I wasn't around for was the Mandalorian one.
It's very good. No, I mean, yes, right. It's got this sort of upsell to people who aren't into it. You don't need to have seen any other Star Wars. You might see some characters that you know of, but you don't really need to know. But I think it's going to be massive. We're going to the ruins of Mandalore, and I think we're going to get this whole Mandalorian takeover with the Darksaber is going to play a big role into it, and I think we're going to get a really dark show in the next season. I think there's a lot of violence and battles coming for us. It's going to be great. I mean, how can you put a twist in that? You're like, it's a really great show. There's a couple of episodes that you kind of trip over sometimes, but in a whole, I've loved every second that they've put out there for it. And
we'll get more Grogu. Who's complaining there? No one. No one.
Right, sorry guys, my internet dropped. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we just were saying loads of bad things about you. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll find my way out. It's all good. Self-depreciation is the best form of comedy. We get on to one of the big ones. Let's talk Indiana Jones, because we can't talk too much about Indiana Jones, but we can talk about Indiana Jones. Let's go ahead and plug the Steven Spielberg retrospective. Dave, you joined us. You volunteered as tribute, I'll say, for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's going to drop on Tuesday, the 20th of September.
I wish I'd done it. I love that
honestly, we had a guest lined up, Ed from IndieCast, who's amazing, who's a big fan of the fourth one. It's some personal stuff, so he couldn't make it. and I just dropped Dave this really. Child, I know you're on your dissertation. That's not my excuse, but
Mm.
Dave had volunteered many months ago, and I then was also like, Tate, you got out of some of them, Tate. Help me on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which he did. So we're for anyone curious at home, we're running a Spielberg series. If you're new to the channel, we go through every single Steven Spielberg film. The Fabelmans is premiering tonight. That's a lovely coincidence in Toronto. I'm not jealous, clearly. God, imagine being a Disney fan and you're at Toronto. That'd be horrible. Yeah, so Kingdom of the Crystal Skull coming Tuesday, 20th of September. And I think I actually made a terrible joke in that episode saying, by the time this episode comes out, we'll have had a teaser trailer and a title. To which we have neither. So let's get into it, shall we, guys? Because we didn't get a title. We didn't get a poster. We got a trailer only for people in attendance. And I'm just going to say this. We haven't had this conversation at Primary Sample on Marvel. We've all been to conventions. We've all queued overnight at conventions. We've done the queues in the day. We know what it's like. I have no issue with the concept of trailers being exclusive in events. There are times I draw the limit, like at Celebration this year, where they didn't stream the panels to the people in the convention. That to me is when you cross the limit. I don't know if D23 does the same. But I'm not going to lie. Obviously, from a selfish standpoint, I'm quite gutted that Indiana Jones has no footage or anything. There's a concept art. There's costumes on show at the event. Sorry. So there's been loads of Indiana Jones stuff over the last few days that you can see online that people are allowed to say. I think that's what made it more surprising. There was no official details to us. What I kind of want to just move on before I hand over to you guys is that my logic is that the film comes out in June next year. Some people are comparing it already to Top Gun Maverick, saying that Indiana Jones could be the Top Gun for next year. I think that's a very unfair comparison. Yes, there's a time gap in between, but there's literally a Tom Cruise film coming out 2 weeks after Indiana Jones does, alongside Barbie, Oppenheimer, and a load of other films. So it's not going to be a similar summer. But my logic is that we're 9 months away from it now. I would have thought today we'd have had a really faint teaser, like a teaser, a title, and maybe a poster. I was just very surprised to see that there was nothing. Especially with Avatar out in December, you'd think they'd start programming it now to get attached to then, because when they announce it, it's going to end up just being a really boring web announcement. Does that sound a bit weird? Am I reading into it too much? I hope that makes sense.
I mean, I was also disappointed that I really thought we'd get at least a poster. That was kind of what I was hoping for. Even if it was just that image that we've already got, but just edited into a poster, that would have been cool, because then we would have got the title. I think that they're holding it back so they can attach it to Avatar 2. I genuinely think that could be the only reason why they're not willing to put it out for everyone to see at the moment.
Oh, I have feelings.
So many feelings.
So many feelings inside. Please sit back and get ready to receive them all. I don't know. I get the exclusivity that we see. People have paid to go to these events, that people have, like you say, have queued, and they've spent a long time getting into these things. So they get given freebies. We did it when we went to Celebration. We got Rogue One trailer that was just for Celebration, and you get little bits and pieces like that.
The footage is out as well.
And it's just, I don't know. For Indiana Jones, this seems to me something that is going to be given to a global audience, and you want as many people on board for this movie, especially this movie, than you do for maybe many other films that are coming out from Lucasfilm. You have such a reputation from 4, as much as it has its fans, that it's but universally out there, it is not a film that people would say they enjoy, that they didn't have a good time with it. It didn't feel like the Indiana Jones they've come to know of the previous trilogy of movies. So to then come out with a trailer for people to see, whether it's a teaser, I don't know how long the trailer was that they saw. It's actually been really good. Anybody who's in that room there's been no details. I searched online for someone who would leak that
trailer. The details.
I searched and couldn't find.
I know the details if you want them. There's no footage. There's no footage, but I know what happens in the trailer.
Nah. So, all right. So that's out there. So there's descriptions. George is better at the internet than me. So yeah. So I just think that you want, and what I was saying, sorry, the trailer, from what I've heard from anybody who's in the room, it was really well received. They said it looked great. There was emotion in the room from seeing it, especially Harrison Ford himself, and he was really selling how much he thought of the movie throughout it. Yeah, Harrison was literally in tears while he was talking about it. And it was just, there is goodwill. You've got an Indiana Jones name. You've got this character over the many years of making these films. I just think the wider public who would want to be now starting to get interested in an Indiana Jones film again, you need to start appealing to. And this would have been a great way to start that. Yes, I get getting on Avatar. It's going to be seen by millions of people, not me, because I'm not interested in blue people at all. But
that's fun.
Sorry, yeah, we'll get into that discussion another time. But nah, I don't care about Avatar. So yeah, I just think you need to start now opening yourself up to get people on board with indie again, because there are bridges to mend. And I think this was the first way to do it, to not even give us a title of the, obviously not give, they haven't given that to anybody in the room, so that's not like it's just us missing out on that, but certainly the trailer, I think we should have all got that. Okay, rant over. Someone else can talk, sorry.
It's going to be Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull 2.
Well, it could be Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade again.
With more crystal and more aliens.
Time travel, as the Hulk would say.
Yes, it's Indiana Jones and the multiverse of the mad kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Just crystal everywhere, decanters, vases, those little crystals your nano has had on the shelf. Crystal maze crystals. That'd be great. Richard Crystal O'Brien man. Hanging around.
I think.
Don't do that.
What kind of makes it sad?
Charlie's right.
Don't do drugs.
That'd be a very different Indiana Jones film. But we know Shia LaBeouf's not in this one, so we're safe. Indiana Jones, this is it. Like, I think definitely to not have the title, I think it's odd, because just a title raises discussion. Now, given that this is going to sound insane, this is Lucasfilm's first film since The Rise of Skywalker, outright film, not series or anything, film, which is crazy. They're really, I mean, this is the main event of the Lucasfilm part of the panel, which I think is a big thing. For this to come out last night, Mandalorian really shows to have Harrison there. He's shooting, is it Yellow Jacket or 19 something? I don't. There's like two shows that sound the same. One's called Yellow Jacket, one's called like Old or Yellowstone or something. I'm not great with TV stuff, but he's filming that at the moment. For Harrison to be there, to cry in public, Harrison Ford crying, not as much as I love Rachel Zegler, you cry a lot, Rachel. Harrison Ford doesn't. And we know he spoke about ownership of the role. He told Chris Pratt, Indiana Jones dies with me. That should be a t-shirt still somewhere. I'm sure someone's probably already done it. But what they did announce, which I kind of want to bring up, Kathleen Kennedy, who obviously, again, plugging our Spielberg series, we spoke about this a lot. That was her first film she worked on with Spielberg, and immediately was promoted to producer after Raiders, and was producer on E.T. And her, Lucas, and Spielberg, Frank Marshall, of course, involved in this one as well now. They have been so important to the series. And to me, the way I've always judged Indiana Jones, the only reason they're doing this film is because none of them are satisfied with how the fourth one is. Harrison won't publicly say it. He went mad at Shia for publicly saying it was terrible many years ago. And as in, we know how important. I mean, for Harrison Ford, like, he is Indiana Jones. It's not Star Wars where he's a character in a trilogy that, yes, it's one of the biggest things ever, but it's not called Han Solo and Friends. This is Indiana Jones. It's his. And I think it's so exciting. And I think the timing's right for this film to come out. I think people are in needing of something more uplifting, this like adventure type film. And I think when we do have announcements, it's going to be great. But I'm the same. I hope it's not just an attachment to another film. I hope this does get at least a web release or something. I think, if I'm being blunt, based off, I know Avatar main event at this panel tonight. They didn't show anything for us at home, of course, but obviously that's their headline film for the end of the year. I just think it's a massive missed opportunity to not have kickstarted Indiana Jones's marketing now, for the public eye at least, leading into obviously next year. I mean, we're going to say it again. I mean, my prediction's wrong. I said a month ago we'll get the Indiana Jones teaser at D23. We'll get the full first trailer at Celebration. I still maintain the first full trailer will come at Celebration April next year. Harrison will be there. The cast will be there. Obviously, even last week, if you've all seen the news, I know we've got to cover Marvel in a sec, so I'll move on quickly. But John Williams performed a piece of music from the film live at the Hollywood Bowl for the character of Helena. He was allowed to perform that live. And that was also oh my God, he's performing live. Next up is D23 next week, so we're going to get loads of news. And obviously, we didn't. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? And if I'm just going to say how it is, if they did drop an Indiana Jones trailer today, no one would be talking about Marvel or Avatar, if I'm being honest. Because even the Mandalorian's not being spoke about much online at the moment. I think Indiana Jones is truly like Lucasfilm's headliner for the next year or two. And I'm really excited to see what they do with it when we get the chance. But that's just my say. Anyone else want to add anything, or do you want to move on to the next monstrosity that we talk about?
Let's move on.
I said enough when I said like Avatar.
I'm leaving before we start that chat.
We've just got a relatively small amount to get through now. You know, Marvel studios, they don't tend to announce many things, do they?
Yeah, there's not much going on at Marvel.
They don't produce an awful lot of film or TV these days. Okay, let's get into this panel. This panel's going to be weird because most of this was held from the public. It opened with Rogers the Musical being played live, which I know both of you would be far more envious of than me for seeing that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I still think that will be a real life thing at some point.
No,
in the
it
next 10
won't.
years.
Not a chance.
Would you put it past Marvel?
Maybe at Disneyland, but it would never be on Broadway. It's a very, very different audience.
Dave?
Sorry, I was literally just sorry, just into it. Sorry, I was ready to just start singing and dancing just like that. Yeah, look, I'm totally jealous they got to see that live in front of like with a live actual production of it.
Sorry to interrupt. Harrison Ford reunited with Short Round today.
With Data!
Oh,
that's the image. I'm sorry to ruin that.
You know what?
I'll say this about Indiana Jones. Before the Indiana Jones panel, the photo went out of Kathleen Kennedy with K. Sorry, I'm pointing through, but the photo. I texted Charlie. I took a photo of my laptop screen. I didn't have the effort to like save it and send it. So I just took a photo, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like Short Rounds at D23. Indiana Jones is going to announce Short Rounds coming back, and he's in Loki, which we'll get to later. But that was just like a not crushing disappointment. But now I've seen that photo, like that's such a wholesome image. Like big up KU Graham, like the comeback.
He could still be in it. We haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah, get him in some.
I love that he did come out for the Loki panel as well. Go, is this not the Indiana Jones panel? I was like, well played, sir. Well played.
They watched everything ever all at once and was like, quick, get the reshoots back at Pinewood. We've got to get him in.
At least now he's being brought back into the actual decent multiverse. Oh. I hated that film.
We'll get into a discussion at some point.
I'll have that. We'll draw it a line.
Sorry, Dave, I cut off. Do you want to talk any more about Rogers the Musical?
No. Sorry, I was just just how much I love it. I think it'll be amazing. That just makes me happy.
Can we all just remind ourselves which series it was in?
Wasn't it in the background to something else before Hawkeye? No, it's going to be in Secret Invasion. There was set photos of Rogers the Musical.
Because it got a West End transfer for Secret.
Yeah, there we go. It's going to happen. This is Marvel's. What year is that set? Like 2024? It could still happen. Give it 2 years.
Planting the seeds.
But it opened with Black Panther 2 after Rogers the. I mean, that's a very different pick me up, isn't it? Like, let's go from Rogers the Musical to like celebrating Chadwick Boseman's incredible legacy. He's made a Disney Legend this weekend. They showed an extended clip from the new film. We've got a bit more details that the core of the story is that the UN and other nations are going to try and come for. I think they mentioned like not the technology from Wakanda, but very much like the Wakandan infrastructure at their lowest point as a country, which I think is a very interesting, very real life story. Clonism, all that sort of stuff. And obviously, they were then given more trailer and footage in the crowd that isn't going to be released online. That one surprised me a bit, given it's 2 months out now and it's Marvel's next project. I thought we might have got another, like a full trailer. But then that first trailer was so excellent, they actually need to do another one before the film comes out. I don't know. But again, not much for us to go off. And I'm gonna merge with Ironheart to make it easier for us. Ironheart, of course, is going to debut in Black Panther 2. She's getting her own film, her own series. They're filming it now. Anthony Ramos, who was in not West Side Story, the other incredible musical from last year, In the Heights, is playing the character The Hood. But just merging them together, how are we feeling about Black Panther 2? Are we hyped? I think it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, of course, everyone's hyped for it. Non-Marvel fans are hyped for it. It's going to be fucking huge, and I think what makes it even more exciting is like the fact that the mantle is going to be passed on, and everybody is still very much like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Shuri? Is it going to be Okoye? Is it going to be, that could be, it really could be any of them at this point. And I think for me, that's kind of like, obviously I wish it was still T'Challa. Yeah. We would all lift that, but it's I think it's quite exciting to see that it's going to be led by a new character. Ironheart's obviously in it, and she's going to be another female Marvel character, new character brought to this sort of like the world of Black Panther. So yeah, buzzing, can't wait.
I can't do put any more delicately than Charlie did. It's going to be huge. I don't know if I've got a better spin than that. It is going to be massive. It sells itself. I don't think the need. The first trailer was so pitch perfect. I don't think you need anything else. People are going to be lined up for that movie the day it opens. Ironheart, I'm really looking forward to see what they do, see what the introduction is in Wakanda Forever to then lead on the series. And they said Ryan Coogler was going to be a producer on Ironheart as well. So I think it'd be really interesting a take of why she's in Wakanda and where that leads her to be the Ironheart character. So yeah, I think it'll be a really interesting series as well. I think, is there Don Cheadle in that one?
Yes.
He's in many of the series coming up.
There's one of them. Yeah. There's a lot of Marvel shows happening. One of which we can speak about. Not the next show. We then had Ant-Man and the Quantumania come out. I'm not going to lie. I almost re-uploaded the troll trailer I did at San Diego. If anyone's unfamiliar with the Conan O'Brien Paul Rudd sketch, just YouTube it. I'm not going to explain it again. I was so close to re-uploading it tonight. I thought, you know what? Maybe not tonight. That's just a bit more effort. So there was a lot more footage shown. We now know the story beat that Ant-Man's going to have to go on a heist by Kang to get his daughter back. They've released that, probably to get away from the terrible rumors that were going around a few months ago. And a lovely bit of news, they've confirmed that Randall Park will return as well.
Yeah.
To the MCU once more, the legend. And hopefully they don't kill him. But they've also spoke a lot about Kang today. We'll talk about him again with the Loki Season 2 stuff. But Jonathan Majors, I'm very, very excited for to see him get more screen time across the next few years, I guess we can say. It's going to be really interesting seeing what they do with him. But how are we feeling about Ant-Man? Again, did you guys think maybe we'd get a teaser? It's got a February release date. It's the next Marvel film after Black Panther.
They got footage, didn't they? No?
They got footage in the room.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But obviously, did we think we might get like a public trailer for us again? Like teaser, it's the next one coming. I was surprised we didn't get anything, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I really did think we would get that. And who was there? Was it just Paul Rudd and John?
I think all of them. I could be wrong. Paul Rudd was there. Evangeline Lilly went. Her and she's right both there today. Hide your masks and your COVID vaccines from them. And somebody, there was a third person. It might have been the director.
Peyton Reed.
And Jonathan Majors too. Sorry.
Yeah. I think Ant-Man is one of those ones that's quite sort of reliable for me. Like I just kind of can count on it being entertaining, not too heavy, just a bit fun. And I really like that they're using his character and his story to tie in what is going to be like the next big Thanos villain, like the next big like ultimate thing for them to overcome. And I really like that Ant-Man's being a bit more drawn into that, because obviously he was kind of sidelined in Infinity War, and so it's quite exciting that they're keeping him quite present instead of just kind of like shoving them under the carpet like some of the other characters have been now.
Justice for Hawkeye.
Justice for Hawkeye.
Majors is probably the main reason I will see this movie. He was the best thing in Loki, and he had like 20 minutes. And
long shot as well, I would say.
Oh, for me, yeah, personally, I thought he was so good. He had such charisma when he came on screen, and the character he was playing was amazing. So I can't wait to see his next lead up. And they're saying this is going to lead directly into the Kang Dynasty stuff. So that's really going to lead. So that's more where my interest is than in the Ant-Man story, which is Paul Rudd's fine. I love Paul Rudd as an actor and the movies he's in and the character he plays, but yeah, he's not where my interest in this story lies at all, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I'll see it the same as I will everything else. But yeah, I'm more interested in where they take the Kang role.
Yeah, and we're going to see him in Creed 3 up against Michael B. Jordan. Kang is truly conquering all of the cinematic universes now. Next up, we have the long-awaited Werewolf by Night. So this has been in the news for like 6-7 months now that there was this mystic report of Michael Giacchino is going to move into directing. He's going to do a special for Marvel. It's going to be a Halloween special. It'll be Werewolf by Night. It was never confirmed, not even at San Diego, which I think everyone thought they would have announced it, but we got it announced today with a great trailer and poster, if I'm being honest. This is, I mean, it's like a Hammer horror classic, isn't it? It's a special that's not part of like a big MCU moving forward project. This feels like a love letter to the horror films of the past. It's got a lovely new sound intro because it's not an MCU outright film. It's a special episode. But how do we feel this? Because Chad, you tell us about an actor that I'd never heard of, which is my fault. But
oh no, don't test me with his name because if my friends are watching, they're going to be so mad at me.
We'll call him Gale, not Gale Platt, but
he's very, very popular in Spain and also in Italy. My friends who live out there, very, very much in love with this man, who I only know because of them. You say long awaited. Today was the first time I heard of this. Genuinely had no idea this even existed, let alone that this was in the works, let alone that we were getting it, next month? It's coming, is it October?
Yeah, Halloween.
Oh, it's being released on Halloween.
Don't know if it's Halloween Day, but they said this Halloween, so I'm going to guess the week, maybe?
To me, this just kind of looks like a passion project of Giacchino, who clearly is a big fan of the Universal Monsters films and Hammer horror films. I think it looks wicked cool. Like, I am so buzzing for it because it's completely new. It's totally different to anything we've seen before. And Giacchino's first directing job, am I right? Wicked. Yeah. Can't wait. It was great.
It's really weird. I've been watching the Oscars, the Best Picture winners, over the last few months, and I'm literally just finishing the 1940s now. So everything I'm kind of watching movie-wise is that black and white, those titles when they put Werewolf by Night is in that font that you see on all the movies from the period I've been watching and sort of been engrossed in over the last few weeks and months watching those. So it was just like this. I felt right at home in the wheelhouse of what I've been watching, but a very different kind of film to what I've been seeing. Some real terrible films, but there's a lot of good in there too, and everyone should do it. It's but yeah, it looks crazy. I mean, Man Thing was in there. There's like a little clip of hymns being shown that people have just gone, wow, they're bringing all these little characters who are in the background of Marvel big cult comics, and that you're going to see for a one-off. Hey, why not throw these things out? They should do more of these every so often. That we're not tying this into anything. You don't need to know a story. We're going to give you a genre piece about this, and you're going to have a good time. And it looks amazing. The footage is grainy, and the stops in it and cuts. It looks phenomenal. It looks like he's really just dived into this genre of movie and how they made films and the breaks they had and the obvious edits that you see so much more when you watch these movies again where they've cut and started. It's like, he's picked all these things out. Yeah, it's so good.
Love it.
I can't wait to see like the people that have this sounds really up ourselves, but people that know nothing about film that I don't want to. There's this stereotype now of like today's kids.
Look at that snooty.
Yeah, it's like I can't wait to see like there will be people that despise it just because they don't understand why it is the way it is, and that's what kind of makes me love it more.
That happens with anything that's kind of considered experimental or anything that's kind of like a blast from the past. They're just like, but why is it black and white? But why is it not widescreen? But why is it physical effects, not CGI? And it's like, because filmmakers want to do different things. And if they want to, bloody let them. And if they've got the money of Disney behind them, then why not? Yeah, you're right. People are going to hate it. They're just going
And
to hate it.
also, just a shout out to Michael Giacchino. I mean, this is D23. He has scored, I would, off the top of my head, say maybe a third or a quarter of the MCU and Pixar films now.
Yeah.
If he wants to give directing a go, they absolutely deserve to give him a chance. I still maintain that. I kind of have a top 4 of like the all-timers for me. I've got John Williams, Hans Zimmer, Giacchino, and Ludwig Göransson's jumped in that top 4 now, if I'm being honest. But I'm really excited to him to get the chance to do this. And I think, his legacy, what he's done for cinema. Again, Disney even jumping in and scoring Rogue One in 6 weeks, one of the best Star Wars soundtracks in 6 weeks. Just a remarkable talent. And I think this could honestly have potential just to be like really something fun, something different. And, again, some people will hate. I think a lot of people are going to love it. And it's going to be interesting to see that upon release. But if it moving away from night, we get to talk about Secret Invasion now. I'm not going to lie. This is, from day one of its announcement, the most like interested series I've got for Marvel, if I'm being honest. Obviously, we finally had the trailer today, which I think absolutely looks stunning, if I'm being honest. And again, when they're announcing so many things left, right, and center, it just really detracts from something like this. And if I'm right, this is the last public trailer we have for this entire event slide, which is ridiculous looking at our schedule. But it looks phenomenal. And I'm just got 2 words: Ben Mendelsohn.
This obsession is getting really unhealthy.
Can I tell you what my big Andor conspiracy is? Secret Invasion shot at Pinewood at the same time Andor did. There is no way on earth that we will not see him in Andor. There is no way that Ben Mendelsohn consciously didn't go on that set and say, "Give me back my costume." I'm just telling you,
in the background.
Yeah, honestly, we'll have him as an extra for one scene. I'll be like, "Can we borrow your Death Troopers for a couple of days?" He'll just turn around and snigger, and I'm like, "That's it. Star Wars has peaked again for me." But yeah, sorry, I've took away from Secret Invasion.
Yeah, it looks good. It does look good. Really
Size to the point, I like it.
You very rarely get me saying bad things about Marvel, so
It's got Olivia Colman as well. Like, that's pretty.
Yeah,
to see her in Marvel is really like weird in a really cool way.
It's really weird. It feels quite jarring. I don't know.
Like
I mean,
British.
I have no doubt that she'll be great, but it's a bit weird. And also, there looks to be like a really, really powerful moment between Hill and Nick Fury, which I'm really looking forward to, because there's the good thing about this is I think it's going to answer some of those unanswered questions from sort of like Infinity War Endgame time. When is this set? Can someone tell me? Does anyone know?
Apparently, it's set during the blip, which was a report a month ago, which I think a lot of people got not annoyed by, but it's that sort of you're doing backwards storytelling type thing.
But it's
I just need to see it to understand it. It's an invasion.
I think that's a period of time that desperately needs its story to be told. That's kind of the beauty of what they did with the blip, and that's what I think Far From Home did. Was it Far From Home? Yeah, what Far From Home did really well was it really touched upon what happened over those 5 years. I don't think I have anything else to say. I just think it looks good.
Well, it does look good. And the thing I'm shocked by is actually the tone of it, that it looks a lot more into like the Winter Soldier sort of thriller sort of area, which I wasn't expecting when they sort of announced it with having Mendelsohn in, and I thought it might have a lighter tone to it. But this looks like a really action-heavy thriller, like you got with let's say with Winter Soldier was the closest thing I can kind of put it with. That's how I felt when I watched the trailer, and that excites me because Winter Soldier's top tier Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got Secret Invasion and Andor, both like more thrillers, politics, espionage, and I think it's just a really interesting subgenre that these franchises haven't done before, which I think makes it stand out. And going from espionage to sci-fi, we've got Loki season 2. Jonathan Majors account. I'm not gonna lie, this really surprised me. They're like, Kang's going to be in Loki season 2 again. I was like, oh, that kind of actually makes sense. Like, I think I was so focused on Kang Dynasty and Ant-Man that I forgot he kind of needs to be in Loki season 2, given how it ended. But obviously, we sort of mentioned him earlier. Ke Kwan's been cast in this, of course, short on from Indiana Jones. Everything Everywhere All at Once. The comeback is happening. They did well to keep that quiet. That's all I'm going to say. He's going to be a TVA agent, I'm guessing, trying to hunt them down. But that has potential. I mean, I'm just going to say it. He should be able to beat the shit into Loki, if I'm being honest. Like, he's done stunts for 20 years behind the scenes. That he can do what he wants. It's going to be great to see him on the screen again. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of Loki season 1. I only really liked Jonathan Majors at the end and Richard E. Grant. But I'm again, like, I was intrigued enough to continue, and I loved the score from Natalie Holt.
They need to do a lot to get me back on board with Loki. I genuinely found it incredibly boring until that last episode was pretty good, but I know loads of people that fell off it before that final episode, so I think they need to try a bit harder. I like Miss Minutes, and I think she's coming back, so that's good, I guess. You know me, I like the merchandisable character.
I've got a clock. Look at this. It's amazing. And she tells time and talks to me. It's a really weird one, Loki, because it falls so heavily in the actual MCU, but I don't still know really how it works in the timeline of everything. And it was all about that timeline and the breaking of said timeline and the put down my little Skeletor thing I'm playing with, sorry. Multiverse was the first time it was kind of breached and kind of this is where we're starting it all. But then they never kind of played out in Spider-Man. We didn't get that. It hasn't kind of done anything. I know he went back and it got fixed, and now he's in a different timeline with Kang as the sort of emperor of the TVA. So it's gone in a different direction than I think we maybe expected to. And yeah, I think it was a tough watch at times that it just didn't do enough to kind of. The trailers kind of sold on this wacky adventure thing. They didn't quite get that from it. And it needs to do some work.
No, I'm with you on that. And hopefully they get the chance. And obviously it's called the Multiverse Saga now, so you'd expect that really does pick up with that, man. And on to what we all thought would be the biggest news of the weekend for the Fantastic Four. Kevin Feige comes out and says, I've got nothing to announce. Then he points at Matt Shackman, who of course did WandaVision, said but he's directing it. No casts. I know we've got a few more things to cover. I'm not going to have a rant about this. To me, it probably just means they've not cast everyone. I'm not really. I'm just going to say it. The ridiculous overhyping of Fantastic Four has been doing my head in for months. I'm bored of speculation. I'm bored of fan casts. I'm bored of all of it. When you want to cast them, just put them on a website. Don't wait till Comic-Con. Just put them on a website. Get it done with. I can't be asked anymore. I'm bored of hearing about it. Sorry to be that guy. And I love Fantastic Four, by the way. I really enjoy Fantastic Four. I'm just, when people are just oversaturating something. It's just,
try telling your face.
But people are just ruining it for you. They just don't stop going on about it. And I'm just so bored of it.
We all know The Rock is going to be playing the Thing. Like, let's just
the hierarchy of power is going to change.
The Rock a rock.
It's the hierarchy of power. He's now rebuilding the entire DCE. Apparently he's now involved in story, which is just... I'm only watching Black Adam for Pierce Brosnan. That's all I can say about that, if I'm being honest.
Oh god, I'm gonna actually have to go and watch it, and I just really don't think I want to. But there's nothing else on at the cinema.
I know. Even worse for you, I'm going to keep texting you saying, "Have you watched the Pierce Brosnan James Bond films yet?" And you'll always just reply saying no.
No, but have you watched Mamma Mia yet? Two can play this game.
We'll have to do a trade.
As long as you don't watch the sequel, you'll be all right.
Oh, I really like the sequel.
We'll have to do a trade. We'll have to switch. She'll do 2 Bond films if I do one of Mamma Mia.
I'm not watching Bond. Let's carry on with this bloody Marvel.
Fantastic Four, anyway. That George loves. I'm one of those people you hate. I was desperate for a Fantastic Four announcement.
Oh no, I want the announcement. I'm just bored
on a
of
website.
Ew.
I want the big explosions, and I want to know who's going to be in the Baxter building. I want to see a stretchy arm come across, and I think that'll all come with it. It was a big miss for me for that. I think you're right that they just haven't nailed down their cast yet. Is the only reason that's not been announced yet. That they have the director, we already kind of knew, so that they should have just left off the slate entirely and not mentioned it if they were going to go. No, the director that came out before Tim. Moving on. But yeah, so I was a bit disappointed with that. Just leave it off the slate. You haven't got anything actually new to give us for it. But yeah, I'm really excited for the do tell us. It makes me all happy when I see it.
Yeah.
And I think even if they've cast 2, I think they're not going to do it till they've got all 4. I think they'll just wait for all 4 and then figure it out. But yeah, so Fantastic Four, people were confused. And then what came next? The entire Echo cast came out, of course, including Kingpin and Daredevil, just for them to announce that
just Kingpin.
It's wrapped.
Was it
just Kingpin?
Was not
no,
Charlie Cox.
Just Kingpin, no Charlie Cox.
Oh, wow. Okay. I apologize. I thought he was there. So Echo's wrapped, which I'm curious by. I will watch it. Again, I was just very surprised to see this high up in the schedule. Like, that must be like the kid. Like, are you going on after Fantastic Four when they've got nothing to announce? And all they just announced was that it wrapped with a little bit of footage. And then they also announced that Daredevil's going to shoot next year. And I mean, we're all excited for Daredevil, but like,
yes,
again, it's like not a wasted announcement, but it's just like, did you need to like just tick list every project you're working on, Marvel? Like, we know Daredevil's going to film this year. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you need to like bring it up today. I don't know if I'm moaning because the panel was 3 hours. It should have been 2, but I'm hyped for Daredevil and I'm hyped for Echo. I'm really excited to see how they put them into the new MCU versions.
I'm excited for Echo because Hawkeye might pop up in it. And that's all I need.
Or Kate Bishop.
Okay, but yeah, maybe if we're lucky. But... Or maybe Lucky the pizza dog. Oh, that'd be nice.
Echo's going to be great because it is a follow-on from Hawkeye, which would be amazing. We will get previously on, and we'll see what happened in the history. We're going to get Kingpin. Apparently, the footage he had a bandage over his eye because obviously, spoiler, she shot him in the face, and he's still fine.
It's Kingpin.
That powerful. Yeah, so Kingpin's going to be. I'm really excited to see D'Onofrio back anytime he's going to play that character. And then they brought out Charlie Cox after that. Once that Echo cast had gone, brought Charlie Cox out to stand next to him. Go, Daredevil's now got a new logo. See his. But I think Charlie Cox is like really excited to restart, but have double the time as well to now focus on it. So it's going to be really exciting that obviously we're going to get him in She-Hulk. I think it's next what day are we on? I have no idea where we are.
It's Sunday.
Yeah. Sorry, whatever day we're in now. Yeah, it's coming. We're going to get the first look at Daredevil in the MCU again, which is going to be exciting. And then to get him now his own series, I can't wait. If they base it on the Born Again comic book, I think we've been something really special.
I'm so excited.
No, definitely. And moving on from Echo, we had some big announcements, which I thought was going to headline it. Captain America: New World Order, not starring Hulk Hogan and the rest of the WCW crew. I'm so excited. This Tim Blake Nelson is finally coming back to the MCU. He's playing the leader. How many years? It's been 14 years now. I don't think nobody can honestly put their hand on the heart and said, I expected that for the new Captain America film. The one person that did is just lying. And I'll say I've not seen She-Hulk yet. Like Miss Marvel, I'll wait till episode 8 or 9 and binge it all together, or at least in time for the finale. I love the fact that we've obviously got I almost called him his name. Yeah, Tim Roth. It's because there's like an Eli Roth, isn't it? Tim Roth's back. We're getting this incredible Hulk. Like, we've got the leader coming back.
The Hulk Naissance.
Yeah, no one cares about no one cares about Arwen from Lord of the Rings. No one wants her character back. Well, at least, but I guess it's because if they'd have still had Ed Norton, we'd probably have had her back by now, I reckon. But I reckon they won't do that for other reasons. But I'm excited to see this, and we also got confirmation that Isaiah Bradley will be coming back to the series as well, who of course was the original Black Captain America, which is great. And Danny Ramirez is going to confirm to be the new Falcon, which we kind of knew. I'm really excited for this film, if I'm being honest. Falcon and Winter Soldier is interesting. It gets a lot of hate. I think there's some justified issues with the villains, but when you look at the real life context that the original story is going to be about, like viruses, vaccines, all that sort of stuff, you understand why they had to do what they did, that butcher it, whatnot. But I can't fault the story half of Captain America, because yes, the Falcon is not Captain America, as Chris Evans also decided to tell you, which people still cried about. How hyped to be for this film?
Yeah, massive. I loved Falcon Winter Soldier. don't know why people didn't enjoy. Well, okay, I do know why. A couple of reasons why people didn't enjoy it. Mostly, probably down to the villain. I think that might have been the sort of biggest issue with the series. But yeah, I can't wait for this film. I love Tim Blake Nelson. Just going to drop in here that I met him once and he's a really cool guy. So excited to see him again. My old mate. Also, he's in Holes, and Holes is one of the best films ever made. So anyone from Holes is in anything, I get excited.
And Minority Report.
Yeah, it's not as good as Holes.
I think it's going to be really nice to get the next Captain America movie and just move on from where they were with Steve Rogers. They needed, the series was good to kind of put him in the suit and move to where we have your new Captain America, to now put it out as the movie as well. It's not a Disney Plus thing. It's an actual in cinemas. This is your next Captain America movie. And I think it will be really, really popular. I think the fact we're getting some of the characters returning from the series to see what's going to happen with Sam. I think the fact he's got his own Falcon, and we've got the returning bad guy from the Incredible Hulk is going to, well, not even a bad guy, scientist then, with a big bubbly head when we last saw him lying on the floor. But I think it's going to be I'm hoping it's going to be a really great Captain America story, because they've done these movies in the past with Captain America and they've all been pretty great films. So now let's move on and keep on the same level of quality for this one going ahead as well.
No, I'm with you on that. And moving on from this, another film which we got announced was Thunderbolts. Pretty big announcement, but it also had a bit of backlash, mainly from comic readers. We've got the Thunderbolts lineup, which is as follows: Yelena, Bucky, Taskmaster, Ghost, US Agent, and Red Guardian. It will shoot next year. Florence Pugh, of course, is filming June 2. She sent in a video. I really wanted to make a joke, but I'm not smart enough to come up with one on the spot about being, not being involved in Don't Worry Darling. But I'm not going to. But how do we feel about this?
It was absolutely wild.
Hey.
I did. It was there was a few people. So at the cinema stay, I saw Bodies. I was the only person in the cinema, and it was empty. And then I saw. Oh God, I can
see how they run.
See how they run. I saw that
Did
straight
you like
after. Great murder mystery double bill, by the way.
Oh my God, I loved it. It was so good.
A few people laughed. It was about 3/4 full. A few people laughed when the Don't Worry Darling trailer came on, and there was murmuring. And that's when you realise that this is like surpassed. Like, sorry, there's a fly. It's like surpassed pop culture now, that the normal general audience have heard about Spitgate. I'm just waiting for when the film comes out. I'm detracting. Let's talk to Disney. Thunderbolts. Yelena's going to lead it, which I'm delighted for. I loved Florence Pugh and Black Widow. I think we all knew she'd have a big role moving forward in the MCU. How do we feel about the lineup? I'm not going to lie. The thing that two things surprised me is, number one, Red Guardian. That was just a wonderful surprise I didn't see coming. Yeah. And number two was Ghost, which was a surprise I just definitely didn't see coming because I'd forgotten about the character. A lot of people annoyed that there was no mention of, oh my God, I've forgotten Daniel Brühl's character's name, Zemo, who will, of course, headlines at the comics. I know that in the in the comics, there's also, oh God, Abomination. Well. Yeah. Now, I'm just going to be the one that says it. Maybe they are planned, but She-Hulk is an ongoing series at the moment. So if it is planned, they might not want to potentially detract from whatever's happening in She-Hulk. Again, I'm not watching it, I'm not too sure, but how are you feeling about Thunderbolts?
So I didn't know much about Thunderbolts before today. Like, I'd heard of it, but I'd never really delved into it. And I'm a bit confused about what it is. Because why are all of these characters friends? Like, Yelena and Taskmaster.
Basically like a Suicide Squad, but it's for villains, but they're not got bombs in them. It's like the anti-hero team up villain.
Yeah.
And that's what's weird. That's the one that's
Skeletor
weird.
Shaking stick at. Bucky is the big standing, but I see a lot of people online that why is Bucky in that lineup? Yeah. He's not part of the Thunderbolts in the comics. It's as if Zemo's in there. It seems really weird to put him in there, but I'm guessing they are it's going to be very much like George just said, like a Suicide Squad sort of thing. So I guess that's how they're going to play it, with more of a sort of anti-hero. I'm really interested in some of those actors. I mean, getting. I mean, you've got most of this Black Widow cast going back for it, which is great. I'm interested to see what Russell Wyatt does with his character continuation, because I thought he was so good in Falcon Soldier. He's got a nice sort of journey as well. Ghost writing really do much in the second half of the film was one of his favourite movies. So that I didn't really. There's a lot of Taskmaster characters as well from Black Widow as well, which I was a little keen on. But you know what? Then was one of my favourite characters. Her and her dad on the same team around. That's joy to me. That is absolute perfection. Bringing those two back to me, a big pull for that.
Yeah, I'm on board with anything that David Harbour is involved in, to be quite honest. Like, I'm happy to see him in anything. So, yeah, let's see.
They've done well to lock him down scheduling before he can get on Stranger Things. I'm sure that's probably planned as well for next year, probably the end of the year.
They haven't even finished writing Stranger Things yet, so
I did a really cryptic board mission. Goes, oh, here's our writing chart. Someone goes, in 8 weeks you've drawn like 8 lines in a grid. Stranger Things aside, though, it ended with the Marvels, and I thought, oh yes, not that I forgot this is coming out. It's just this panel is getting very long now, and we've got a video to do. And yeah, and I was like, oh, of course the Marvels, and again it was exclusive footage shown to the crowd only. And they basically gave a bit of story detail that obviously the ending of Miss Marvel, this isn't spoilers, should have seen it by now. The characters keep trading places and must come together to fix it when they try and use their problems. And by the 3 characters, that is Tiona Paris. I've forgotten which character she was from WandaVision. Her character name.
She's is it Photon her actual characters? Well, the actual.
Yeah, she's Maria or Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. Of course, we've got Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. I'm not going to lie. A year ago, not that I wouldn't have cared. I actually quite like Captain Marvel. It just gets insanely hated upon. Not even getting into that. Miss Marvel, I absolutely loved. But again, a year ago, I wouldn't have cared when this film was announced. But now I have seen what it's been set up. I'm far more interested in what they might do with it. Again, how's Nick Fury going to come into it? I think Secret Invasion is going to come into this one as well. But I think it looks great. But obviously, when I say it looks great, it sounds great. So you didn't actually get to look at anything. Yeah,
I'm excited for it. But I think the final sting in Miss Marvel really gave us a feel for what to expect. And I loved Miss Marvel. I thought that was so good. It's actually one of the few out of the Disney Plus series that I would probably watch again. You know, some of them I'm not really that bothered about revisiting, but that one, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait for this. And guys, don't freak out, but Goose is coming back.
Goose is back, yeah.
We've got Goose coming back, so I'm happy.
Look, I'm getting to see Iman again, and I think she was so wonderful in Miss Marvel. She just played that character so well and made me smile every week watching that show. I can't wait to see her given a bigger stage to play on, like an actual be part of a movie. I just think she's going to be amazing. And I'm a big fan of Brie Larson as well as an actress, so I can't wait to see what she does with the character and where they go with it. So yeah, this will be one I'll be seeing opening night. I really can't wait to see those characters into play.
Definitely. And JD's had to go. Take care. And yourself, JD, as always, thank you for jumping on. And that wraps up the Marvel panel. And then I thought, oh my God, now they're going to do Avatar. Because they said it was the 20th Century Fox panel. And I was just sat there like, they've only got Avatar. Like, there's nothing else that they could do at D23. Like, stop calling it the 20th Century Fox panel. Just call it Avatar. There's nothing wrong with that. Because I'm excited for Avatar. Dave, I know you're not. I know that tomorrow in London they're doing like a big press screening for the 4D remaster or something, but it's not at the IMAX, which is just stupid. Like, why? And I think there's a lot of media things happening. It's getting re-released on the 23rd of September, for anyone that doesn't already know, leading into the big remake. And I thought, we're going to get a new trailer. We're going to get something big. This is Disney's, it's the highest grossing film in history still. Might even potentially make $3 billion if the re-release, I think, gets 150 mil. I doubt it will. But it'll be potentially the first ever $3 billion film, which is scary. And James Cameron popped up on Zoom and just randomly announced, we're now filming Avatar 4. That's right, not 3. We've already done that. Avatar 4 is now filming.
Avatar 4, the search for Avatar 3.
Yeah, it's being released at a cinema near you in 2039.
But wasn't this always his plan to do them like consecutive years up to 5?
He wanted to. I feel like he originally said, "Oh, I'm going to do Avatar 2 and 3, and then I'm probably going to drop off and let others do the rest." And then it's like, "No, I'm doing 4 now as well." And what I would say with this is it.
Until he can zap them directly into our brains and we just see it. That's where he's going to go. He's already probably working on the technology.
I respect his 25-year commitment. Like 25 years he's worked on 2 Avatar films at present. And I think what's crazy with Cameron is that because obviously there's whatever story you want, but you forget how big a name he actually is. Like you kind of laugh, oh, he's done Avatar for 10 years, but you actually look at it as like, actually, you know what? Like he knows the crap, he knows what he's doing. And I'm going to say, like, as we've drawn close, like the Avatar hype's coming, and I'm going to go to the re-release when it happens. I'm going to do it in IMAX in 3D because I never got to do it in IMAX or 3D when it first came out. I'm quite excited. I'm going to do it in a double bill of Don't Worry Darling on a Friday. I need to really make sure that I do it in the right order. Because I like doing double cinema trips. That's just 2 very different films. But just in terms of today, there's no trailer, no post, not even a poster. There was a concept art release for the public eye. Some of the cast came out and spoke about the characters. People in the crowd were shown scenes from the new 15 minutes of footage in 3D. Obviously, there's not much for us to report on, but just, I guess, kind of previewing Avatar. There'll be a review in a few weeks for Avatar after the remaster. What do we all think? Are you hyped for the new one? Do you enjoy the first one? It's going to be really interesting in the next few months because I think that film actually will be quite big. When I'm one end that thought, a bit like House of the Dragon, no one's going to care. I think a lot of people will actually care.
I absolutely love Avatar. I have always loved Avatar. I have fought Avatar's corner since it first came out. I think it was probably the first and quite possibly the last film I ever saw in 3D. I really don't like 3D. But I cannot, I cried when I first saw the teaser trailer for it. And then I saw it, was it Doctor Strange they showed it? Or was it 4? I can't remember. Oh God, just absolute goosebumps as soon as I start thinking about it. I love it so much. But I will only be going to the re-release if they re-release it in 2D because some of us can't watch 3D. So I might get to see it again on the big screen, but if not, I have the Blu-ray, so I don't need to worry about them having taken it off Disney Plus.
I was going to say that's the interesting thing. Sorry to interrupt, Dave, but like that's the whole physical media thing. That if guys you really want the film, buy it. You don't own the film unless you own the physical disc. Even if you stream it and bought it off iTunes, you don't own it. Still, you're technically renting it for an undisclosed period of time. Yeah. But I'm glad you brought up Charlie because I wanted to bring that up as left. But sorry, Dave, jump ahead.
No, I mean, I'm really sorry. I've got nothing that pleasant to say. I see why Avatar did what it did. It was the first big 3D event that you had to see this movie in 3D, and it was definitely great to see the visuals on there. But a story about really taking the oil from countries and a story about Iraq was all it kind of was to me. And blue people that I didn't care about, or actors that I didn't enjoy. I'm really sorry. I've got no interest in Avatar. I know, Charlie, I'm so sorry I'm letting you down so badly. But yeah, I've just got no inkling to see the first movie again or the second one. Not for me.
That's fair.
That's okay, I think.
We can still be friends. It's okay. We can't. It's over. Right, okay. I get it.
No, because I think Avatar did have that effect that not everyone did enjoy it. And I think, it will be, to me, as like a box office nerd, I'm very excited to track its box office this year because if you look at it like domestically, it obviously did well in America. It wasn't like the number one grossing film in American box office. It was like internationally, it exploded in every single market for like a year. It was almost like a year. They re-released it the following summer, didn't they? Just to keep breaking more records that they didn't need to. And I think what says a lot is that James Cameron's done a remaster of Titanic. It's ready. It's in the can. Titanic's anniversary is the same week as Avatar 2. So they've now said that the Titanic anniversary re-release will be next year. So I think they're really like protecting Avatar at the box office for December. Shazam moved because they're scared of it, which is really funny that Shazam thought they should come out near it anyway. And I'm worried for Knives Out it's apparently going to get a limited cinema release. I was like, I don't think any cinemas are going to show Knives Out over Avatar. Not me being horrible. That'll just be Disney's booking system of like everywhere's going to show Avatar. But you know, that's December the 16th that comes out. That's also our Christmas party at work. So I'm hoping that I'm at an early screen of that something arrogant. Because I just want to watch it on release, if I'm being honest. But I'm excited for the format. I'm excited for James Cameron, and I'm just keep talking because I'm tired. And we've been going for over 2 hours 15. So what I want to kind of do, I want to kind of pass over to both of you to sort of slowly round this out. What's been your favorite announcement or trailer or something that we can end on a positive note each on? I'm just going to be the one that says it. Indiana Jones, even though it's not made it to the light of day, the photo of Harrison Ford in Short Rounds has just completely destroyed me today, and I think it's amazing.
From yesterday, it's Disenchanted. I just can't wait for that. I feel like I've been waiting forever for it. But it's got to be Willow. I just can't wait for Willow, and it's so nice for something that's outside of these massive franchises to be getting the attention it's getting. So yeah, that's it for me.
And I think for me, the Harrison thing is up there with him being on stage and being so emotional about an Indiana Jones film that's coming out, which I don't think he ever was for the last one. Even no matter how much they try to support that film, it wasn't going to happen. I've come out of this with an appreciation of how much more originality we're getting as well, which I think is a big part, that we're not just getting sequel after sequel after sequel, especially on the Disney side, which felt like they kind of start to creep back into like the old days where they used to have 106 Dalmatians and a half and a puppy and things like that. So it's just seems like we're now going back. All right, let's start with the original concepts again, which I think is a really good move that they need to do this. So that's my big take. And outside of that, if I'm going to where my wheelhouse is in Star Wars, I think the Tales of the Jedi is still going to be really excited.
No, 100%. I think if I'm going to be blunt and not biased, I think Star Wars and Pixar probably had the best 2 panels for a studio. Not Star Wars, sorry, Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Marvel's just seemed like Marvel probably just thought they had to say stuff when they actually didn't need to for a lot of it. I think that's the reason why it's so long. And I'm just going to be blunt. Initially, that Avatar was probably wasted, but that's the purpose. You go to these events to get to enjoy it and take it all into account. But that being said, you know, this is just going to be the one D23 video on the channel this year. So please do comment your thoughts on D23. Maybe you'll watch this in the future. Maybe they did announce Tron 3 starring Garrett Hedlund, Olivia Wilde, directed by Joseph Kaczynski tomorrow. Because tomorrow there is a 40th anniversary of Tron panel. Maybe they'll announce they've sacked Jared Leto and he will not be involved in Tron. I hope. I'm not going to confirm.
Leave Jared Leto alone.
Here's my question: like, can he really be in Tron? Like, how
Classic
can you
meme.
method act? Like, how can you method act being inside a computer? Like, that's my question to Jared Leto.
Do you know if anyone can do it, Jared can do it.
Yeah,
I have
the biggest computer in the world. But they announced the Tron visual. They've done a game for Tron. Yes, they announced at the games panel, and it was like, it's a narrative journey. I'm like, it's Tron. Just make a good game of light cycles. Don't give us a story. But then again, 40th anniversary Tron panel tomorrow. It's not being streamed. I will be trying to find a way to cover it on Twitter. You'd assume if they're going to have a big panel just for Tron, the only franchise getting the same panel, there might be an announcement or two. And listen, you know, Joseph Kaczynski has just made Top Gun Maverick. If Disney aren't on the phone to him apologizing for cancelling Tron 3, you'd expect them to bring him back now. Can you imagine the posters from the director of Top Gun Maverick? Okay, we're not going to have Tom Cruise in this film. Sorry, I'm waffling about Tom Cruise and Tron and everything. But listen, it's D23, and we're going to get some Tron stuff. So maybe tomorrow there's good news. There won't be a video on this channel. What there will be a video for, there's going to be a video for Cobra Kai Season 5, a spoiler discussion. The series is out. You've had a few days to watch all 10 episodes. It's not that long, about 4 or 5 hours. We'll have a spoiler discussion on there tomorrow, as we always do with these. And I said, we want people to comment your thoughts on D23, the panels, the announcements, what you're looking forward to, what you're not. Please do get involved, hit the subscribe button. There's a lot more Disney stuff coming on the way. We're going to cover a lot of these films that we've spoken about today. And if you want to find out about videos that do pop up at the last minute, go get us on our social medias, Twitter and Instagram at cinema_savvy, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy, a link to Redbull where you can pick up some merch. And I want to give myself a break from talking. So, Charlie and Dave, your Twitters are both here. I'm not going to ask you to tell people why they should follow you, but what are you both up to on your social media feeds?
It's the film festival next month, so I suppose I'll be busy doing that. I'm finishing my master's on Monday, so at the moment, not much.
I'm just randomly retweeting things and talking about the movies that I'm watching, which is still the Oscars Best Pictures mostly. Trying to get to those. I'm just up to 90. I'm going to watch Hamlet last night. So that was the 40s finished. Now moving into the 1950s. So yeah, more good times ahead, I'm sure.
Definitely. So everybody, please do follow these. As always, thank you for taking time out on a Saturday night to join us. It's been over 2 hours, 20 minutes. We're still 40 minutes shorter than the panel was today, which is a great thing. So thank you, everyone at home, everyone watching that's been commenting on the stream tonight, people that are watching it later. Thank you all, and be sure to join us on the next one. Take care.